Yeah.
No. Welcome to the Nerds Cantos.
I wasn't expecting it to make a noise.
Oh, we're going, by the way.
We're going. We're
Yeah,
going.
No,
Craig.
it actually made me jump.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what do you want to be known as? You want to
I
go
don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna keep calling him Mikey, even if he actually said it. Like, there's no way in hell that I was gonna get that right. By the
Okay.
way,
Right.
I'm
Shit, that works.
Xander. Everybody else wanna?
I don't know. You guys been calling me Stewie since we did this, so yeah, I'm Stewie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not using your fucking.
No, we're never using your real name. It doesn't work.
Not calling you soon.
Nolan, introduce
I don't
yourself.
care. I'm
Nolan,
just.
say hi, Nolan.
Hi, I'm Nolan.
Mikey, say hi.
I'm Mikey.
Yeah, so I'm the robot who's drinking tea. Stewie is the Metal Gear image. That's all I know it by. Nolan's the Pun Fun image, and Mikey is the Rawlsy image. I mean, they don't have talks, like they don't have a thing around them that says they're talking. I just wanted to say what
We're not
guys
advanced enough for them.
I tried. I like Googled it after the first episode. I was like, that would be really neat. I Googled it, watched like 10 YouTube videos, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So then I just didn't do that.
Eventually, TM. Soon, TM.
Don't say that. Because don't ever say soon. We haven't made a Cantos since Doctor Strange 2. That was like May, I'm pretty sure. Soon in Cantos terms will be like 13 years when we make a reunion episode.
I'll be 27 years old. I'll be like, guys, we finally got it.
Yeah, we did it. I figured it out. It's been 13 years. Regardless, before we delve into the topic of today's episode, why don't we start off with a nice and easy. What you guys been up to? It's been a while since we've done this. What's happening?
I've never been here before.
Yeah, well, Mikey, we'll start with you then. What have you been up to, Mikey?
Oh, like just what I've been doing in general.
Yes, that's how these work. God,
Oh,
man,
shit.
I can't believe what
If
I'm
it helps,
doing
you can
this
stick to
shit.
pop culture topics.
Yeah, you
I
don't have to.
knew.
Yeah, I can't believe we. All right, Mikey, what have you been up to? Like, seriously.
Well, I beat fucking Ghost of Tsushima and the DLC.
What would you rate that game? What would you out
What
of
I'd
10?
rate that
Yeah,
game?
out of 10 and the DLC. We'll do the game and the DLC separate.
Oh man, Ghost of Tsushima is really good. Say it's not like a really like out there story. Like it doesn't really do anything new. It's kind of little predictable. But it's beautiful and really fun to play. I give it like an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I think that's solid. I think I'd give it the same thing.
Yeah, all the scenery is really beautiful. Like I'd catch myself on multiple occasions just kind of stopping and looking around.
Yeah. Now, what about the DLC? What would you?
DLC, I think it's even prettier in terms of like just like areas and stuff. Story, it's a little shorter and doesn't really interest me as much. Give it a 7. It adds a couple new like outfits and stuff, which were pretty good.
I still haven't played it, so I don't.
It is good. Trust me.
Right, I need to
I like
replay
I
it.
like what it does with the story.
You could be
Okay.
like me and accidentally started halfway through the game because it was open and I
I mean,
didn't
you're
know
allowed. Yeah,
it was
you're-
a post DLC thing.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Post game DLC.
But I guess we'll move on. Nolan, I imagine you're probably the most boring out of all of us. You know, it's not in general the most boring, but the most boring at what you've been doing. I should word that better. What have you been doing?
Oh
Nolan?
boy.
I hate everybody.
Hate everything. Well, I've been 100%ing Cyberpunk after the anime came out,
Alright,
and
Yeah, we should.
it's
We'll
enjoyable.
talk about that later a little bit, maybe.
No, we won't. This entire episode is Spider-Man.
No, we won't. Yeah, another
Cyberpunk doesn't
episode.
exist
You've
right
been
now.
playing Cyberpunk. What would you rate Cyberpunk, Nolan?
It's for me right now, like nice. I can, a high 8,
Okay.
almost a 9 for me. I'm really liking it so far because I really like the world that's being built. Like we already have like the world from the tabletop game if you want to delve deeper, but it's getting like a nice faithful recreation or reboot, you know? I
Yeah,
think, because they're also confirmed they're working on another game,
and
an
DLC.
anime, and DLC, and they just had a big fucking update on the game like 2 months ago. Or a month ago. I don't remember when it came out, but it was a huge update that unlocked a lot of the map and added a lot of guns and shit.
It's neat.
And the game's just more fun now because
It's
of the,
definitely a lot better now.
yeah, it's a lot better.
You been encountering any bugs?
Well, no, not common. I did today though. My game crashed, but it was like that was the first time I think it's crashed for me. Don't
Yeah,
know why.
I had a little bit of crashing problem when I tried playing it on launch day.
Yeah, on your fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you play it on Xbox One?
Yep, I couldn't get a PlayStation.
Yeah, well, that
Oh
doesn't
my
help.
god!
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. They didn't make PlayStation 5 versions until a couple months
Yeah.
ago, so it was you'd still be playing the same
Fair.
version. But
I did get the pre-order bonus stuff though, because GameStop gives that shit away. So I got a really cool samurai medallion, which honestly makes it kind of worth it.
Nice.
I would say it does. Makes the whole experience worth it. It looks cool. You've showed us before.
Yeah,
I'll maybe pop an image on screen if I can remember. I won't, but it might be there.
I don't think it will.
I'm gonna spite you now. You said it, so I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be no pictures. The entire podcast is just the samurai medallion. We gotta spice
Alright.
it up. Just 4 bros talking. It's like every other podcast. We gotta do crazy shit. Speaking
Crazy
of that,
shit.
Stewie, what have you been doing?
In terms of like new stuff, the most recent thing that I've been playing was Entropy 02, a very nice Half-Life 2 mod that came out, which is free if you own Half-Life 2, and I highly recommend you play it. It's very fun. I 100%ed that. It wasn't that hard to do. It changes a lot of the sandbox in Half-Life. Adds like a few cool weapons and grenades. Besides that, I also kind of got back into Cyberpunk, but I don't know if I'm gonna 100% like Nolan. It's all right. I beat the game once, and after that I was just kind of like whatever, you know.
Damn.
It should be known I also had it on PC, and that was hellish experience.
Yeah, it was terrible from what I heard. It
Hellish
was like
experience.
worse than the console version. So
I know I wouldn't say that, but it definitely didn't run as well as people.
Now, what
advertise.
would you rate that game, Stewie? What would you rate?
I mean, as it is now, like I don't know, like 6 out of 10 maybe. If I'm being
fair
generous.
Damn, what if you're not being generous?
All right, this isn't an episode about a cyberpunk debate because I will have it.
Okay,
but
we'll pull
we
back.
have to
We'll pull
move
back.
on to
We'll pull
Spider-Man.
back. Well, I want to say, because I have a life, I don't. I lied. That's a big
Jesus.
lie. I've been platinum in God of War. I just beat it on Give Me God of War like yesterday. I mean, we've all talked about it before. It's hard. That's a 10 out of 10 game. I'll just say that my rating 10 out of 10. One of the best games ever made.
Yeah, I actually started playing it today. I never actually got around to playing it myself because I never had a PlayStation. Game hard.
What difficulty are you on?
I did the not give me God of War, but
The
give me a
second
challenge.
one? Yeah.
I got to the fight where it was like all the brute guys with I
Yeah.
think they had axes. Man, I
Just wait till you
I
get
was
to the
not
Dark
doing great.
Elves. The Dark
It's
Elves
really
will-
hard. It's hard in the beginning.
It is.
Ugh.
Easier. Yeah. Easier gets.
Absolutely hellish experience for me.
Yeah.
The
You
Dark
honestly,
Elves and the Valkyries are
you might just
terrible.
want to bump it down a difficulty because
Yeah, I did. I was like,
it's
yeah,
just make your
I've already seen this game beaten. I just kind of want to blaze through it
yeah,
for
experience. Refresher.
Ragnarok coming out next month.
Yes,
Oh,
less
Christ,
than a
that's
month
so-
now.
Almost
my
there.
my non-existent life will go further into non-existentness when Ragnarok. But unfortunately, we're not allowed to talk about that because we have grander topics.
Oh,
Grander
boy.
topic. It's one to talk about. Spider-Man. Okay, we promised to our 3 viewers, thank you. Thank you, truly. I don't know who you are. I hope you're not like our parents, because that would just be kind of sad. But we promised we would talk about Spider-Man. And promises are fulfilled at the Nerds Cantos podcast, even if they're like 9 months too late.
Yep, it's our policy, company policy.
Yeah, so just, I gotta, as the loser, I gotta ask, what's everyone's knowledge on Spider-Man? Like, what would you say, your knowledge level of Spider-Man is? And then also, is he your favorite superhero? Where's he at on your ranking there, right? Somebody start. I don't really care. Who does?
I would say my knowledge is pretty spotty for 616. I know a lot about Ultimate, but who doesn't? It's
fair enough.
It's a really simple run to read. I don't know where he's definitely in the top 10, but I don't know where I put him. Probably in the top 5, maybe.
Okay.
I've got like mainstream knowledge, so like MCU stuff and like very slight comic stuff. So not too much. Played a lot of the game. That was really good. Like Spider-Man PS4, I believe it's just called.
It's just Spider-Man PS4.
Played a lot of that. Love that. And if I was to give him like a tier on a tier list, I think he'd be like a high A. Not like the best, but he's pretty good.
Okay, Nolan.
I'm similar with that. I've just been around a lot of people that know a lot about it, so I kind of know a lot about it now because I remember things.
And what about your like ranking? Where's Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, he's probably out of all those, he's probably in my top 10 somewhere. Not top 5 though.
So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory considering I am the self-proclaimed Spider-Man expert, but hero, probably my like second favorite fictional character of all time, maybe my first, something like that. And I know a little too much about Spider-Man, maybe a lot too much, you could say. And I'll explain. So I have read every single issue of Canon 616, which is the main Marvel universe in the comics. So every Canon 616 Spider-Man story, or Peter Parker Spider-Man story. I'm kind of slacking on some of the other characters just because and I did that because Homecoming was coming out, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time to finally get into comic books. And I tried to read the current stuff, but my OCD prevents me from reading any new comic books if I don't know literally everything there is to know about the character beforehand. So I decided, let's go back to the 60s, 63 to be exact, and find out who Spider-Man is. And then I didn't like him, so I went to Ultimate Spider-Man, which is like a separate universe. I was like, let's do that, and that was a lot easier. And then I decided, I gotta go back. I gotta do it. And then I read it all. So we're going to get right into it, starting in the 60s. I mean, we all know Spider-Man's origin, right? I don't have to explain how he gets his uncle murdered, right? We don't have to...
I'll do it just like the movies. Explain all of it.
Okay. Every movie's got to go over his origin. So Peter Parker is this shitty, nerdy kid. He's really an asshole, actually, by the way. Now, most people don't talk about this. But, like, he's a dick, which I think is why he got bullied. I mean, they don't ever really say that in the books, but that's my take.
Yeah, he kind of hates people.
Some people. He's an asshole. And I think the idea is supposed to be he's an asshole because he was bullied, but I more so take it as like they bully him because he's a piece of shit, because he just seems like an asshole. Regardless, asshole Peter Parker. His parents are dead, by the way, because they always are. And they left him with his uncle and his aunt. So, Peter gets bit by this spider. And then it's not at like Oscorp or anywhere. It's just like a science spider at a field trip somewhere. There's no like special anything. And then it's a gamma radiated spider. And then he gets spider powers, decides to be a wrestler. is kind of decent at that, but like is also still an asshole when he's a wrestler, and then his uncle gets murdered because he doesn't stop a criminal. Thus, starting with great power comes great responsibility. Now, I'm gonna throw it to you guys. Is there anything specifically you want to know about like early Spider-Man? Like we're talking 60s, 70s Spider-Man history. Is there anything are there any questions before I?
Yeah, I've got one. So Uncle Ben, right?
Right.
Other than dying, what does he do?
So nothing until later, because there's a lot of stories in the 2000s and onwards where like Doctor Strange will be like, "Hey man, you're a good guy, so here's like 24 hours with the ghost of Uncle Ben." Pre the 2000s, literally he exists to die, and for Peter to say he was a truly great man, which like I guess he was, whatever. There is, however, a comic that isn't canon, but I think is funny, where it's set in like the 40s at some like hotel resort over the summer, where 4 kids, 2 dudes and 2 girls, go and work there for the summer. It's Richard Parker and Mary Parker. They're not together yet. They're like just out of high school kids, and then it's Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and they all fuck a lot. And in this story, so the book's called Trouble, and it is really weird because Richard, which is Peter's dad, gets with Aunt May, and then Ben gets with Mary Parker, but then they kind of like it just is not working, so then they're like cheating on each other, and then Richard gets. I think I fucked that up. So they do get in the right relationships, but they don't like it. So then Richard fucks May, and then Ben almost fucks Mary, but then doesn't. So then and because in this, Mary and Aunt May are like they're just friends, but Richard and Ben are brothers, so that causes a huge thing because Richard fucked Ben's girlfriend, which is like, dude, what the fuck? But then this is the big twist. Mary is found to be like infertile, so she can't have kids. But Aunt May gets pregnant with Peter, and that's maybe, who knows? Maybe the book's canon, maybe it's not. So there's a possibility that Peter is actually Aunt May's child. We're not gonna consider that, but
wow.
Ben is also infertile as well. I should mention because he was like born infertile. Mary, I believe, was just born that way. Ben actually, somebody makes fun of a girl. I think they make fun of like Aunt May, so Ben goes to beat the shit out of him, and they instead turn it around and beat the shit out of Ben. And by beat the shit out of him, I mean like very specifically hit his nuts and break them. Not a joke. Actually happens in the book. Yep.
Oh my God.
So then he just can't have kids because of that. I think I'm
straight up
to
a Johnny Cage.
Aunt May also says the line.
Like did they just straight up punch him?
They just beat the shit out of him. Yeah, they were just beating the
so
shit
he got kicked in the balls or something.
Yeah, I mean they don't
just
show
get,
it.
One hit KO'd in the dick.
They don't show it. It's just he runs into the bathroom. It's like this big cliffhanger because the girls are like, "Oh my God, Ben's like, Ben ran off to go fight these dudes who like offended us," and then Richard is like, "No, you don't understand," and the issue ends because you think he's gonna be like, "You don't understand, he's like a monster," but instead it cuts and he's like, "You don't understand, he's a pussy," and then he gets his ass beat and they take him to the hospital and the doctor's like, "Hey, your balls are broke, buddy. Sorry, sorry, I had to be the one to tell you that." But that's what Uncle Ben does, and then he dies after raising Peter, which you think raised a good kid, but as I mentioned earlier, Peter might not have been the best dude. He's kind of an asshole, but regardless. Any other questions about early age Spider-Man?
It's not really questioning you. I just find it like strange that Aunt May and Uncle Ben are always depicted as like really old for some reason.
Yeah.
Like a little too old for like a high school Peter.
Well, that's really a plot point. They never explain like the age of his parents until later, which we'll get to that. But they've since comics have gone on and characters don't age anymore. They kind of aged Aunt May down. So she's now if you read a comic, she looks like she's in her, she looks like she's 66. Whereas if you read the 60s books, she's like 80
Yeah,
and
she's like
she is
decrepit.
about to die. And I don't mean like she's about to die because she looks old. It's a plot point in nearly every Spider-Man comic where when he's beating up a bad guy or he's done beating up a bad guy, he's like, dude, my life fucking blows, bro. I can't get any girls. I have to save people all the time. And this fucking decrepit aunt of mine needs heart medicine. I don't got the fucking money for this. Peter Parker to a T. He is an asshole and I love it, but he's also not an asshole. He's a bit of a mix. He hates his life because with great power comes great responsibility. I guess getting into it, right? His first ever villain was was the Vulture, was the Chameleon and then the Vulture, but most people just consider it to be the Vulture because who gives a shit about the Chameleon? Chameleon rundown. Dude can wear faces and impersonate people. He's Russian. Technically, he's a Soviet, but then they had to because the Soviet Union.
You cut out.
Oh, am I cutting?
Kind of a little bit.
Just a little.
I muted myself. Are we back?
We are back.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back.
So the Chameleon's weird because he's a dude. I don't know if this. I'll just re-say it. He's a dude who wears faces. Like he could make a mask and then just pretend to be you. And he used to be a Soviet spy, but then they had to get rid of that because comics stopped aging people. So when did the Soviets exist? Who are we ever going to reference the Soviets again? They don't exist anymore. So we had to get rid of that. So he was just a Russian spy or something, whatever. Chameleon's lame. The Vulture, surprisingly not lame, but also still kind of lame. I'm just going to run down all the villains and then we can get, because nothing really big happens in the 60s. It doesn't, it gets to the 70s. So I'll just run down all the villains. So, Vulture, he's an old dude who just wants money. So he makes a flight suit. He makes it's like a thing on his back that propels him and lets him fly. And then he just makes the Vulture suit around it. You don't really need the rest of the suit. I really don't know why he makes the rest of the suit, but he does. And him and Peter beat the shit out of each other in the first issue, and it's all, it's all well and fun, whatever. Then, you got the Rhino. He's a dude. He needs money. So he goes and gets experimented on and becomes a Rhino Man. This is a lot of the Spider-Man villains. I should bet a lot of them are just poor people who want money. So they get experimented on to get money. Sandman, for instance, poor dude, really wants money. Gets experimented on, becomes a dude made of sand. I'm trying to think of other Spider-Man villains from the 60s.
There's quite a lot of animal-themed villains.
Yes. Well, he is the
Scorpion, Vulture, Spider-Man himself, Chameleon.
Yeah.
Black Cat.
Black Cat, right? She's later. We'll get to her later.
Yeah,
the Scorpion you brought up. Scorpion's actually an interesting one because while he was kind of poor originally, and still now because the comics are still going or whatever, J. Jonah Jameson, the editor-in-chief, the head of the Daily Bugle, the greatest man against Spider-Man, the menace that he is. Mm-hmm. He fucking despises Spider-Man. So what does J. Jonah Jameson do? He finds a random dude on the street, brings him in, and he's like, we're going to experiment on you so you can fight Spider-Man. And then he makes him into a Scorpion. And as it turns out, Matt Gargan, the Scorpion, is insane. So he gets the Scorpion powers and just decides to wreak havoc in New York instead of killing Spider-Man. This is after J. Jonah Jameson failed with the Spider Slayer, in which he hired a dude to make robots that he could control that could track Spider-Man's powers. It's a whole bunch of shenanigans. The robot ends up at the high school, and Peter's like, "Oh no, they're gonna figure out I'm Spider-Man," and then they don't, which is obviously. The
Spider Slayers are so goofy.
The Spider Slayers are extremely goofy until the modern times when they made them really scary and stuff, and they're actually menacing. But I guess we'll get to that when we get to the modern times. Any questions? Any other early Spider-Man questions?
Nah.
Okay, any villains you guys want to know about in particular?
Big wheel.
Right, the big wheel's a villain. I'm not entirely sure when he was invented, but he rides in a big wheel, and Spider-Man kind of beats him up like really easily every time. Which is a
Only
little
because he
I think have like
chooses to
a
get beaten up.
very sad character arc in the fucking early 2010s.
I think
Or
so.
is that The Wall?
Is that the Who?
The Wall. You don't remember The Wall?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, I just didn't know what you said.
Oh, okay.
They do that a lot. They gave like Boomerang, which is another Spider-Man villain, some really sad stuff. Whatever.
Okay, but Boomerang's actually cool though. I don't
Okay, Boomerang's cool. I'm not saying Boomerang's not cool, but like he's still Boomerang.
Fair enough.
So to keep going, we got like Mysterio, who most people know because he's in Far From Home, but he makes illusions. He was a failed like film major. I think he wanted to go into theater. It didn't work, so he tried to go into film, and it didn't work. So he was like, curse thee! I will instead make illusions and steal money." Spider-Man beats him up a lot. A lot of the early villains, like the guys I've mentioned, weak sauce. They just get shit on immediately. They're nothing until we get to like Doc Ock, who. Okay, here's something different. All right, Doc Ock was a scientist, an actual scientist. He had money. And in just a failed experiment, he designed the robot arms or whatever. And then a failed experiment trying to capture the power of the sun, it fucking explodes and grafts the robot arms to his spine. And then he goes insane and wants to steal money and beat people up and stuff like that. But here's the twist: Spider-Man actually loses to Doc Ock in their first ever little experience, which is something you don't see a lot, especially back in old Spider-Man comics where his villains are kind of pathetic, even though I love them. They're all sort of losers.
When did that come out?
That one was like 63, 64. Like, Stan Lee was cranking these things out. Yeah, Stan Lee's...
That's like 63 and then a story as tense as that? That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, he comes back and he wins, obviously, but like it's just kind of crazy that he gets his ass beat. Doc Ock actually beats his ass a lot. The two villains who I would say do that the most are definitely Doc Ock and Goblin. But Goblin comes a little later.
Yeah, so one throws fucking bombs, just chucking nades.
Yeah, that's true. One of my favorite villains, Kraven, also comes around in the 60s. Kraven is a fucking joke. A absolute loser of a character. And I don't mean that because I don't like Kraven. I genuinely love Kraven, but he's a dude. He doesn't have any cool powers.
Yeah, he's
not sand. He doesn't make illusions. No. Kraven is a fucking bum who shows up and is like, I hunt animals, and what's the greatest thing you can hunt? The Spider-Man. Let me hunt Spider-Man. And every time Spider-Man's like, you are a loser. Leave me alone. And then he beats him up and puts Kraven in jail because Kraven is breaking laws, I guess. Kraven does try to steal money sometimes and stuff, but
he
his whole thing is
Spider-Man, I guess.
He's a hunter. Why is he stealing?
Damaging property, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's more so. He just beats him up. Spider-Man just beats him up and throws him away. He's just like, get out of here. I don't care. Okay. But then
disturbing the peace.
After all these villains
kicking his ass.
They form the Sinister Six in the Amazing Spider-Man, which is what the main book is called. Annual number 1. So an annual is an issue that comes out once a year. So this is a big thing, right? It's like, oh, you made it a year, which is back in the 60s. If you made it a year as a character, that was pretty damn good. It's actually really good now too. So if you make it a year as a character, that's a mark. And Stan Lee was like, okay, I should mention Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created Spider-Man, and drew him for the first very long time.
The base man himself.
Stan Lee did 100 issues. I think Ditko didn't do that many, but Ditko was there for a while. Yeah, but they were like, okay, we got an annual. Let's make the Sinister Six, right? Let's have Spider-Man's villains team up and beat him. Now, obviously, Spider-Man wins at the end of the day, but I want you guys to guess how and beat his first outing with the Sinister Six. How does Spider-Man win?
Punches them really hard.
I don't know.
Turns them against each other?
Well, actually, what happens is they only come at him one at a time. So they form the team, and then they'll just I forgot to mention everyone's favorite villain, Electro. He's an electric worker who is touching a power line and then touches it, I guess, in just the right way that it gives him electricity powers. He's also on the Sinister Six. So the Sinister Six is maybe I'm getting this a little wrong, but it's Kraven, Doc Ock, Sandman, Mysterio, Vulture, and then Electro. I think that's in my brain. That sounds right. So either way, it's those early guys. But they all just come at him one at a time. You know, Electro's like, I'm gonna go fucking beat him up, and then he runs at him, and then Spider-Man beats him up because he's already fought Electro. So it's like whatever. And that's the first time the Sinister Six ever did anything, and they don't come back till like the 80s. So just don't even think about the Sinister Six. They just fucking disappear. I guess they were too ashamed at their loss. I mean, those characters will come back, but them as a team, they don't come back. I should mention this. Peter has like supporting characters. So there's Aunt May, previously mentioned, decrepit old woman who needs heart medicine because she's literally on death's door like every second of the way. There's some she like hates Spider-Man as well, so it's like a big thing where Peter's like, "Oh, my aunt hates me. How am I supposed to live with myself?" There's a lot of melodrama in Stan Lee comics, and there's an issue. There's like two issues. One where Spider-Man like swings into his house as Spider-Man, and Aunt May beats the shit out of him with a vase. Like she picks the vase up and then slams it on.
Why?
Conscious because she hates Spider-Man, and he broke into her house.
Why does she hate Spider-Man?
Because she hates Spider-Man. So
she's like a free boomer.
Yeah, she just doesn't like Spider-Man. It's just
Is there a reason? Does she listen to Jonah's podcasts?
It's been like retconned that she she would read the Daily Bugle, but like back in the 60s, it was literally just like it was just a nice form of melodrama where it's like, oh well, you know, Peter's aunt hates him. What is he gonna do, right? And there's another issue where she goes into Peter's room to like clean it, and some of his webbing is on the wall, and she like touches it, and there's like a panel where she's like, "Oh, what's this sticky white stuff?" I just wanted to mention that because like Stan Lee, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's kind of weird. I don't know if am I the only one that thinks that weird? I'm sorry. It's like a book for like 7-year-olds. Like that's okay. Regardless, some of his other supporting cast, you know, we got J. Jonah Jameson, head of the Daily Bugle. There's Robbie Robertson, who's like the second head of the Daily Bugle. Cool ass guy. There's a lot of people at the Daily Bugle. There's like Betty Brant, who Peter really tried to fuck when he was like 16 and she was like 20. I guess it was weird back in the 60s. You know, whatever. Power move on Peter's part, I suppose. There's others at the Daily Bugle, but we don't need those right now. At his high school, there's like Flash Thompson, you know, his bully. I assume you guys know who Flash Thompson is. I mean, he's in most of the stuff. He actually does like beat the shit out of Peter. It's not like you know, it's not like in the MCU movies where he just calls him Penis Parker. He does try to like beat the shit out of Peter. They have like a boxing match.
What?
In issue 11. Flash is like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Peter. And Peter's like, I challenge you to a boxing match. And they hold it after school, and Peter fucking one punches Flash because he has spider powers. And they make it like a trick where, you know, Flash is like, there's no way Peter Parker could have beat me. He clearly cheated somehow, even though, you know, it's a boxing match. Like, how are you gonna cheat? Whatever. That's the kind of shenanigans that happens in early Spider-Man. And then we transition after about 12 issues. Stan Lee goes, you know, fucking enough of this high school shit. He's going to college now. All right, we're going to college, which you don't see a lot because most people think Spider-Man's like the teenage superhero. But actually, for 98% of his lifetime, he was a adult. You know, like he's not a high school student. And when we get to college, is when we meet Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy, as well as Mary Jane, the like most important members of his cast. And before we get to the college life, are there any more questions about early Peter Parker / any of his villains or characters?
No.
None here.
No, we've done pretty
Okay. I'm trying to give you guys like room, so just to make sure.
So I mean, it's pretty spot on to what I know. I mean, he's a little guy back in the day, and everything's very literal. There's no reason to why anybody does anything other than
it's a
they do
60s
things.
comic, man. Yeah, it's a 60s comic. There's no
Not a lot of depth to them.
No, there's not a lot of depth until maybe the 70s. Really, is I think the 70s is when like superhero comics actually started to get interesting, which is a hot take. But I do not like anything pre 70s because it's all, oh, this guy's bad, I'm gonna go beat him up. Oh, I beat him up. Ah, my life sucks. Ah, and that's it. It's I hate it. Regardless, there's some charm to it, I guess, but it's just not. I don't know. So we get to college. And this is when we meet the main man himself, Norman Osborn. You know, this is when Norman comes into the scene. And this stuff actually, so this is when we kind of get like the stakes. I forgot to mention real quick. There's an early Spider-Man. I just want to mention them because I think they're funny. There's a group of villains called the Enforcers, who are just like 3 dudes. One of them looks like a cowboy. Just want to bring that up. They try to fight Spider-Man a lot, and they get hired by like Norman Osborn and stuff very often. Because he's like, go beat up Spider-Man for me. And then they get their ass beat because they're just normal dudes. I just want to bring them up because I think they're funny. And nobody brings them up. So, same with the Shocker. I forgot about the Shocker. Also a loser. Dude has shock gauntlets. And he wears a cool but stupid-looking costume. And
He's
he tries...
the first boss.
Yes, he is the boss in the Spider-Man game. And he looks cool in that game. I really like that fight. But
yeah, it was a fun boss fight.
Yeah. So earlier I mentioned like Doc Ock beat Spider-Man, but it was sort of like he beat him and then Spider-Man came back and immediately knew what was happening. But Goblin was like the first villain, or Green Goblin, because there's a lot of goblins. Green Goblin was the first villain who actually like beat Spider-Man, where like Spider-Man would lose to Goblin, and then the issue would end with Green Goblin escaping and leaving, and then we wouldn't know where Goblin is. And it was like a big thing because he would just commit terrorist acts. He would just show up one day in New York, bomb a convenience store, Spider-Man, and then fucking leave for like a week, and you have no idea where he went. And it was there's this whole like arc and big thing where eventually Goblin does beat Spider-Man, and he takes his mask off, figures out he's Peter Parker, and then like you figure out there's like a mystery on who Goblin is because nobody knows who he is, right? And then Peter takes his mask off. He forgot it's Norman Osborn. And you're like, holy shit, they both know who each other are. How crazy is this going to go? This is going to get crazy. And then Peter punches Goblin, and then his head like hits a metal pipe, and then he gets amnesia and forgets he was ever the Green Goblin at all. And he's just been Norman Osborn. So that's early comics. That's how they dealt with supervillains figuring out who your identity or what your identity was. They just gave him amnesia. Yeah. That amnesia comes up a lot. Like anytime Norman Osborn shows up, he's like, I think I might be the Green Goblin, and then Spider-Man will just bonk, just punch him again, and he's like, oh, Norman Osborn, everybody. Yeah. But getting into like Harry, so Harry at first is a asshole to Peter for like no reason. I say no reason. Everybody actually hated Peter at college. Like Mary Jane and Gwen also hated him because anytime they would try to talk to him, he would see crime happening and he'd be like, fuck. All right, I gotta go be Spider-Man. And then he would show back up and he'd be like 2 hours late and they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, why are you like this? So that's Peter's life. It's not great being Spider-Man. But eventually, him and Harry, you know, they come to terms. Harry offers him to be like roommates because Harry's got a big ass penthouse because nepotism. And that happens. So they become like friends and it's going great. At this point, Flash Thompson gets in on a scholarship, so he also goes to Peter's college, and that's like a big thing because Peter's like, I fucking hate Flash. Flash is terrible. We'll get to Flash more in a minute because there's some stuff happening there. But him and Harry are roommates to become friends. Eventually, you know, Peter actually gets with Gwen, which also pisses Harry off because Harry wanted to get with Gwen. But then Harry's like, you know what, I'll get with Mary Jane, which also pisses Harry off because Mary Jane really wants to fuck Peter. Like, just obviously wants to fuck. She's not even hiding it that she wants to fuck Peter, even though Peter is with Gwen and she's with Harry, which is a big thing. And this all leads to Harry taking a lot of drugs and becoming an addict. Like, actually, what's he taking? They don't say what he's taking.
It's like some steroid, right? Or some pill? I forget.
What does he do? Like,
drug?
He's taking pills or something?
Yeah, it's a pill. There's like an image. I'll see if I can find the image. There's like an image where he's just surrounded by drugs, and it's like insane looking. Here we go. I found it. I will
From
throw this
this
up
comic?
on screen.
Like
Yeah, it's just from the way back in the day comics. He's just surrounded by pills, and they just call him pills. And this is like a really big thing because this causes Norman Osborn to sort of snap into being the Goblin again because Harry's taking drugs, and Harry sort of like in between taking drugs is like, let's all go to a play that Mary Jane is in. So they go to this play that Mary Jane's in, and it's just happens to be in a theater that Norman Osborn owns. And he looks at a door, and much like the Raimi movies where he'll look at the window or the mirror and he'll see the goblin, he does that where he looks at the door and he's like, oh my God, what's behind the door? And then he opens the door and it's like a janitor's closet filled with Green Goblin shit. I don't know how nobody found this out before, but nobody did. And then he goes in there and remembers he's Green Goblin, and that causes a lot of problems. But I'm kind of jumping a little bit here. Let me pull it back. I want to cover Flash Thompson. So Flash is a piece of shit because he's a bully, but he has a redemption arc where he decides to go to Vietnam. And it's really nice because like that's what Spider-Man would do. Flash Thompson runs the Spider-Man fan. He's the number one Spider-Man fan, but he hates Peter Parker. So like, haha, it's kind of like the reverse Aunt May. And he decides to go to Vietnam, where in Vietnam he gets both of his legs blown off.
Oh, damn.
Flash Thompson's great. He's just an extremely well-written character. He has a great character arc. But I just wanted to mention that because I feel bad for Flash Thompson. Technically now I think he went to Afghanistan because timelines have like, you know, we've moved up in time and they can't mention that he went to Vietnam because then like how the fuck old is he, you know? So now it's like, oh, he went to a war in the Middle East. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We went to
Does he come back with his legs?
No, he still doesn't have his
No,
he still doesn't have his leg. He does end up becoming Agent Venom, he's the person who gets the Venom symbiote after Eddie Brock. That's not really important to Spider-Man. I just want to bring it up because Agent Venom is really cool, and the symbiote makes legs for him, so that's nice. I shout out to the symbiote for helping disabled vets. Truly a great person, a misunderstood alien, but we'll get to that. So Gwen, I want to talk about Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy sucks. She's awful. She's not a character. She's just really annoying. Like Mary Jane is interesting because you read like 60s comics and all the women are wet blankets because they exist to sexually appease the men, and it really sucks. And then most of the men are like extremely misogynistic, where they'll just be like, the girl will be like, we should go on a date, and they'll be like, woman, do you think we need to go on a date? Get the fuck out of here. But they'll still somehow like be in love at the end of the issue. It's really bad. But Mary Jane is like the opposite of that, where she's interesting. She has her own motive. She has like a dark and, you know, interesting backstory, and she's like a party girl, which you don't see a lot of back in the day. Whereas Gwen, you know, the person Peter gets with, is like the complete opposite. She's the nerd. She has no personality outside of the fact that she hates Spider-Man. Why does she hate Spider-Man? She does. There is a little
Same thing
more
with
to
Aunt
that.
May.
So
They
she
just
hates
hate Spider-Man.
She hates Spider-Man, but in a little twist of events. So she already hates Spider-Man because Spider-Man's a fucking menace to the city. You know, he's terrible. But her dad, captain of the New York police. I don't know how that works. I don't know if that's like a real thing you can be, but that's what he is.
What,
George
police
Stacy.
captain?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
captain
that's
of
the thing.
the whole New York, not just like one section of New York. Whatever. I don't know. Good to know.
I think it's like sections.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's captain of all of New York, which is like, all right.
New York City or like New York?
Well, just New York City, but
Oh, well, maybe, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. So Peter is fighting Doc Ock, which happens a lot. I mean, you know how it is. Villains pop up, beat him up, send him in prison, call it a day, right? Peter's fighting Doc Ock, and it's getting kind of rough, like most of the Doc Ock fights do, because Ock is, you know, he's got 4 fucking metal arms. Other than that, he's a chubby dude. He doesn't actually have superpowers. He just has 4 really powerful metal arms. So in the middle of this fight, Ock with one of his arms like hits a bricks come, they fall down, and they're about to hit like a 7-year-old.
You cut
before
out.
George. Man, this hurts. I think the recording will keep me, but my back.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
back.
you're back.
Okay, I don't like that. So Ock hits a bunch of bricks, right? All the bricks come loose. There's a 7-year-old about to be hit. George Stacy jumps in the way. The bricks like slam on his head. He's dying. So Spider-Man runs up to him. He's like, "Holy shit, George! Oh, my bad." And then it turns out, because George is like a decent detective, that he knew Peter was Spider-Man, and he's like, "You have my blessing. Fucking marry my daughter and be Spider-Man. Save the city." But Gwen finds this out, and she's like, "Oh my god, Spider-Man murdered my dad." So then she hates Spider-Man even more, because tension, right?
Yeah.
Not many things happen in this. I mean, there's more to it. Like, there's characters, there's new characters and stuff introduced, but like nothing like major happens. That is until 1974, 73, where they decided to just completely change the comic industry. So here's how comic books worked. Something called the Comics Code Authority existed, and it still kind of exists, but nobody uses it anymore. Which basically, you didn't have to use it. But what the Comics Code Authority is a little stamp on the side of your book that says, "This is approved by the Comics Code Authority for children." And it was a way to sort of like, it's like a rating system, for a movie or a game. It's just a way to make sure kids aren't reading like fucked up books. And you didn't have to have it, but like most of the time you just did it that way. Parents would let their kids buy the books. So in 74, they're done with Gwen Stacy. All right, we're tired of Gwen Stacy. At this point, she like hates Spider-Man so much she went to London because she needed a break from life. So like she goes to London, and then Peter like goes to London, and they meet each other, and it's like, "Oh, I love you, I love you." So then they go back to New York. They're having a great time. They're having a ball. And then Green Goblin just he goes, "I got my memories back. I'm gonna kill Spider-Man's girlfriend. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna drop her off a bridge." So he picks her up, and it's something that, because you never kill the love interest, right? You never do that. And you think like, "Oh, Spider-Man will save her. It does, it's fine. Spider-Man will get her." Wrong. Goblin actually drops her off the fucking bridge, and she debatably is kind of murdered by Spider-Man. I mean, she would have died either way. But there's like a big debate because there's an onomatopoeia of a snap when Spider-Man like his web hits her, and it's kind of like, oh, did he snap her neck with the like inertia of stopping her and stuff? Wouldn't have mattered. She would have slammed her head on concrete and become nothing, like splattered meat. So she would have died either way.
Damn.
Yeah. So Goblin murdered Gwen, and
this part's coming up.
There's actually there's a fun bit in the Death of Gwen Stacy book where Goblin takes her to the Brooklyn Bridge. That's what's drawn, right? But Peter keeps calling it the George Washington Bridge because here's why. Because Norman Osborn took her to the bridge named after his favorite president. And the reason Peter comes to that conclusion is because Washington is the guy on the $1 bill. And Norman Osborn likes money. That's how he knows where she is. Okay, it's not because like he uses his spider sense or he just finds her. Nope, that's the conclusion he comes to, which is just like, all right, man. But this is where you start to get to the like actual deep and interesting stuff, because Harry is fucking cracked out in the hospital, like not a human being anymore. He's just going insane taking these pills. Gwen is dead, so Peter's like, I'm gonna go murder the Green Goblin, to which he does, kind of. He finds the Green Goblin's hideout, he's beating the shit out of him, and then just like the movie, spider sense goes off, he dodges out of the way, and then rammed with the Goblin glider. Goblin kills himself, and then Peter leaves. Peter just goes, okay, Goblin's dead. Cool. And then continues on with his life. And that's sort of not the end of an era. We're still in the middle of the 70s, but it's the end of like a big part of Spider-Man. So any questions about what I'll dub the Gwen Stacy era?
Gwen Stacy era.
I think it's pretty cool sounding.
Yeah.
Okay. Stewie, any questions?
No.
All right. I want to run down Spider-Man's powers. And anybody who's watching this video should know. I just want to make sure we're all on the same. Like really fucking strong. You don't think he's that strong, but like he most definitely is. really strong. And he's also got like spider agility, which just means he isn't like fast, like he doesn't have super speed like the Flash, but he can like move really fast. Like he could probably catch a bullet kind of fast.
Okay.
And then he's got the spider sense, which isn't a thing. Spiders obviously don't have that, but he has a magical sense that tells him when danger will hit him and in which direction it's coming from. And unlike a lot of things, he has to make his webs, which is the superior way of having webs, because it's really disgusting when they come out of your arm. That's weird.
That's you're capping. That's weird. You're weird.
I'm capping what? About what?
Organic web shooters is cool, bro.
No, they're not. Organic web shooters are lame.
It makes him more like a spider.
I don't care. He can stick to walls. I didn't mention that. That's your powers. There you go. He doesn't need them. He can stick to walls. Good enough.
Are you gonna bring up the extra uses of spider sense? Or you can
like the spider radar and
that
stuff like that.
Spider radar.
Just like cheats at poker.
Yeah, he can do that.
Detect like weird like things that aren't like a threat to his life, but like still are kind of a danger to him for some reason.
He's sort of. Obviously I'm skipping over a lot of like smaller stuff, like a lot of cool moments I'm skipping over from like the earlier books because they just don't really matter to the overall, and I have to somehow condense everything. But he at one point he makes like spider tracers, which are like little spider discs that he can shoot from his web shooters at you, and then he tuned those because the spider sense is actually, according to the comics, a radio frequency. So he tuned the spider tracers to the spider sense radio frequency so he could like track the villain. And does stuff like that all the time with his spider sense, where it's like, how does this work? Like, what is this? Nobody knows. That being said, post Gwen Stacy death, life isn't great. I forgot to mention, while Gwen Stacy was alive, there's this character named Miles Warren. His villain name is the Jackal. He's an extremely old dude who's a professor, one of Peter and Gwen's professors. And for like an experiment, they both give him their blood, which I'm not entirely sure why Peter would ever give someone his blood, considering he's Spider-Man, and you can see that in his blood. Regardless, they give Miles Warren his blood, and after the death of Gwen Stacy, Miles, he blames it on Spider-Man, and most people do. Most people think Spider-Man murdered Gwen Stacy because that's just kind of what they saw. They didn't really see Goblin there. So Miles decides, with the blood samples he has of Gwen and Peter, that he's going to clone them. And this is the very first clone saga in like 75, because when they killed Gwen Stacy, Stan Lee and Marvel Comics actually got death threats from fans in the 70s because they murdered the love interest, and people were like, I'm Peter Parker, you can't murder my love interest. So Stan Lee went to the guys writing it. I think it was Jerry Conway and John Romita Sr., and they were like, Stan Lee was like, bring her back. Bring Gwen Stacy back. I'm tired of these letters. All right? Fucking bring the girl back. So they're like, okay. So they do the first clone saga where Miles Warren clones them. And you might be thinking, oh, why does he clone Peter? He just clones Peter to beat him up because Peter was fucking Gwen and Miles Warren wanted to fuck Gwen. So he just made a Peter clone that he just eats the shit out of like once a day in a dungeon. And they both escape, like the Gwen and Peter clone. They escape, they get out, and they go to Peter. And Peter's like, holy shit, Gwen's alive. And then the other Peter shows up, and he's like, what the fuck are you? Why do you exist? And then they fight, because of course they fight. It's a superhero comic. And they beat each other up. And then they're like, oh, wait, Miles Warren cloned us. He's the bad guy. So they beat up this old guy who's going by the Jackal. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's just an old dude. And then at the end, Peter and like other Peter they're still kind of fighting each other. And other Peter, clone Peter, goes unconscious. And Peter checks his pulse. Apparently, Peter's really shitty at this. Because as we know later on, clone Peter actually lived. But Peter thinks he's dead. So he goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw you into a smokestack. I'm going to toss you into a fire. Have fun. And he just finds like a chimney and just tosses what we know as Ben Reilly into a fucking pit of fire. It's kind of an asshole move. I don't know, bury him, I mean, Gwen Stacy also like melted. I should mention, like the clone Gwen Stacy like melted because clones can't last that long. So like the writers are basically like, bring back Gwen Stacy, fuck you. No. Good on them. Good on them, by the way. Don't bring back Gwen Stacy. That's really stupid. And it's at this point that Peter and MJ sort of get together. Harry's off his drugs, but instead of pills, he's now taking goblin serum because he is a villain now. And it's actually pretty great. Harry's like maybe the best Green Goblin because, you know, he's like Peter's best friend. And it's like, oh no, my best friend's evil now. So like they fight a lot, which is fun. And, you know, like I said, Peter and MJ are together. And now Harry like lives beneath them. You know, like they have like his apartments below them. And it's like, if you tell anyone I'm Green Goblin, I'll kill you, kind of thing. Comic books, right? But really, we're at the 80s now. So I want to talk about my man, Kraven. Okay.
Yeah, what about him?
Well, before we get there, does anyone have any questions regarding anything in general? Any questions about anybody?
No.
All right.
Been pretty thorough with everything.
I'm trying to get you guys in here. I forgot to mention earlier, it just came to my mind, the Lizard, Dr. Kurt Connors, missing arm, injected himself with formula. By the way, stop. Spider-Man villains, test this shit, okay? Stop just injecting yourself. It's weird. You know, I don't know. You normally test on animals and stuff. You don't just stab yourself.
They do get cool powers, though.
I mean, I wouldn't say the Lizard is cool because you're a rampaging monster that wants to murder your wife and child.
Some of them get cool powers.
Fair enough. Some of them do get cool powers, like Sandman, who eventually becomes an Avenger, by the way.
Does
he?
Then
he doesn't. Yeah, well, then comic books, so he ends up not being an Avenger. But for a good couple, like 10, 15 years, Sandman was a reserve Avenger, which basically means you will never do anything. But in a Spider-Man book, we can call you an Avenger, which is really fun. If you ask me.
Very cool.
And he has a fun little arc. He also sometimes he like combines with Hydro Man, another Spider-Man villain, who, much like Sandman, gets experimented on and becomes a water guy. They combine to make like Mudman sometimes.
Mudman.
Doesn't matter. So before we get to Kraven, because I kind of forgot about it, I really want to get to Kraven. Before we do that, in the 80s, a Marvel event called Secret Wars. The first of many, I should add. Marvel, please come up with new names. It's really confusing. So Secret Wars happens. Now, Secret Wars, you think it's like, oh, this grand story, right? Because there's like 7 Secret Wars now. What it actually is they wanted to make action figures so they could make money. Because comic books don't make money. And action figures do, because it's the 80s. So they designed this whole event where this guy named the Beyonder, who's basically a god, goes, you know what's fun? Superheroes and villains fighting each other. So he makes this place called Battle World, which is like a rock in the middle of nowhere. And he summons all the villains and all the heroes. And it's like a tournament. It's basically like a shonen tournament arc. He's like, fucking fight each other for my amusement. And in this, Spider-Man gets his costume like ripped and shredded, you know? So he's like, guys, I really need a new costume because I need to hide my identity. So he's talking to the Fantastic Four, and they're like, yeah, there's a costume making machine over there. So Peter fucking stumbles over there and on splashes a black alien suit that he doesn't know is an alien because he thinks it is a costume that can like, it's super technologically advanced. So it can react to his thoughts and do what he wants it to do. You know, it can become like a regular shirt or, you know, anything he wanted to. That's where he gets the Venom, by the way. That's Venom. That's it.
Love my costume making machines.
By the way, the best Spider-Man suit, I think the symbiote suit is the best one. I fucking love that.
It is very cool looking.
I love that suit. I forgot to mention, I'm doing a poor job. Pete and Mary Jane are married by this point. It's great. It's the greatest thing ever. Mary Jane is a real character with real stakes, and she has her own plot lines. It's fucking awesome. And you know, we'll get to the things with that later. But Peter comes back. He's got the black suit. He's having adventures. You know, he's got a brand new suit. At this point, he meets Black Cat. Black Cat's cool. She wants to fuck him. We're in between here, like pre-marriage but post-black suit. Mary Jane kind of breaks up with him because she's like, we got to take a break. And then him and Black Cat are kind of fucking, and Black Cat's like, dude, I've also got superpowers. Like, oh, come on, man, we should really be together. But there's like a big problem with that though, because they sort of just fuck as Spider-Man and Black Cat. And then Spider-Man figures out she's Felicia Hardy, and he's like, well, I know who you are, so you should know who I am, right? And Black Cat's like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me who you are. And Peter's like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. So then a couple months go by, and he's like, or weeks. Time in comics are weird. And he's like, no, listen. And he takes his mask off, and she fucking loses it. Like, she screams at him and is like, I don't want to date Peter Parker. I want to date Spider-Man. And then she leaves, and Peter's like, well, damn. Let me call up my hot redhead ex and just get back with her because that was fucking weird. So then him and Mary Jane get back together and eventually get married. And in the time that they get married, Felicia was gone. And then she comes back and is like, let's fuck. And then Peter's like, I'm married, man. You're gone. Like, it's over. And she's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's weird. He's like, dude, I was gone for like 5 months and you got married? Which is, don't you love melodrama in comic books? He should be with Mary Jane, though. Sorry, Black Cat. You're cool, but Mary Jane's the superior romance, in my opinion. What about you? Who are you guys' like Spider-Man girlfriend for you guys? Who's your favorite love interest for Spider-Man?
A Black Cat man myself.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't really like any of them.
Well, yeah, I guess you guys haven't like. You haven't like comicked, so there's not really room for you to like any of them because in the movies they don't do anything.
Yeah,
the romance in the movies isn't that
great. It's really bad in all of them, honestly. Like, it's just not good in any of them, I think. Regardless, he's got the black suit, right? And now, typically, when you think of the black suit, you think like, oh, it drains his energy and it. He's tired and it makes him angry. None of that really happened. He had the black suit for a good 5 years, I think, in the comics, because it was just like, I got a fun, super technological alien suit. Isn't that awesome, guys? And a lot of the characters he met would be like, you should get that checked out, because that's kind of weird. Like, that's just a suit. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't be alive. And eventually, they kind of work in the idea that, the suit takes him out at night, and he does crime fighting while Peter's asleep. So, you know what? Fantastic Four. I'm friends with them. Let's go get this shit checked out. And they go, yeah, that's alive, buddy. Like, that is a living being that is on your skin. And Peter, being clearly xenophobic, is like, ew, bro, get that living creature off of my skin. That's fucking weird. And he immediately goes to a church and hits a bunch of fucking bells, and it goops off of him, lands on Eddie Brock. Quick rundown of Eddie Brock, by the way. In an earlier story, they introduced a villain called the Sin Eater, who's just a serial killer. He just fucking murders evil people. Like the Punisher, unlike the Punisher, will just murder anyone who's in his way. So if he sees an evil person and there's a child in his way, he'll just shoot the fucking kid. Doesn't care. He's like, whatever, the kid's in the way of justice, I'm murdering the kid.
Yeah.
So they're fighting the Sin Eater, and it's like a Daredevil team-up story where the Daredevil and Peter gotta fight the Sin Eater, and it's fun. It's a really good book. But Eddie Brock he's a reporter. I can't remember what the reporter's called, but he's not the Daily Bugle, but something else. And he has the apartment building he lives in is the same apartment building that the Sin Eater lives in. But the Sin Eater also lives right next door to this really old, schizophrenic dude. And the Sin Eater, when he prays at night about being the Sin Eater, the schizophrenic guy can hear him through the walls. So the schizophrenic guy thinks he's the Sin Eater. And Eddie Brock hears the schizophrenic guy talk about being the Sin Eater. So Eddie Brock reports that, and he's like, I found out who the Sin Eater is. So this old dude gets arrested, and then eventually Spider-Man finds out who the real Sin Eater is and arrests the real Sin Eater. So Eddie Brock just loses his job, and everyone hates Eddie Brock because he reported on the wrong thing, even though, it probably wasn't this 90-year-old man, but he went on the best lead he had. You know what I mean? Cut my man some slack. Regardless, fucking Eddie Brock hates Spider-Man, so he's at church because he's a religious guy. And now, unlike the movie, he is not here to ask God to kill Peter Parker, though that would be kind of funny if he was there to do that. So instead, the goop falls on him. He gets the Venom symbiote. And then, like, it's great times, right? He's got the Venom symbiote. He hates Spider-Man. The symbiote hates Peter Parker because, they hate each other, and Venom's gonna go kill Peter Parker. But here's the thing. None of the movies have done this. Venom doesn't kill innocent people. There's a reason he's called the Lethal Protector, and he mentions this a lot. He refuses to kill innocents. He says that, like, every time he shows up, because him and Spider-Man will fight, and then Spider-Man will be like, "Get away from my wife," and Eddie's like, "I don't give a shit about your wife, dude. I'm here to murder you," and then leave. And deals with Venom because Venom takes him to a remote island. He puts him on a plane and is like, "I'm gonna murder you on this island, dude." And Peter finds a fucking skeleton on the island and puts the skeleton in the Spider-Man outfit and then leaves. And Venom sees that and he goes, "My work here's done. I'm gonna just chill on this island for the rest of my life." And that's what he does. He just vibes on this random fucking island.
Wow.
Comics, everybody. So getting back to what I wanted to mention, but I had to explain the black suit. Kraven, in what is probably the best written Spider-Man comic book of all time, Kraven's Last Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
I've read this.
Kraven comes back. Wait, what's up?
I read this one.
Hey, good. So you kind of know what's going on, and it's been a while, but I'm gonna run it down. So Kraven comes back. Kraven's a fucking loser, man. I mentioned that earlier. Kraven's a pathetic piece of garbage who's never done anything good in his life. So what does he do? He decides, fucking one last time before I murder myself, I'm gonna get Spider-Man. I'm gonna get him. And to do this, he hunts a lot of spiders. He eats spiders. He's drinking the spider venom. I think it's venom, right? Like spiders have venom. I don't.
Yeah, something like that. It's
Yeah.
either spider or snake venom. I don't remember which one.
Regardless, he's drinking a lot of venom. He's eating spiders. He's pretending to be Spider-Man. So then he, does some crimes. He's fighting Spider-Man. All of this is happening, I should mention. A villain that I am utterly blanking on the name of. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. He's like a rat guy. He's kind of loose and in the sewers. And he's causing havoc because he's murdering people because he's crazy and he's a rat dude. I really wish I could remember his name. I apologize. I don't know his name.
Ratman is probably a good guess.
It's not Ratman. It's something more interesting, I think, but whatever.
Ratman. Yeah.
So that's happening. So Spider-Man's trying to find this rat dude. And at this point, I will say he is not wearing the black suit, but he's wearing a cloth version of it, or he's kind of started to get rid of that because the way Venom sort of showed up, I want to mention this, the way Venom showed up and took him to the island is he showed up to Mary Jane and made a super evil mouth at Mary Jane, and ever since then Mary Jane hates the symbiote suit. She never wants to see the black suit because she has nightmares from fucking Venom maybe possibly eating her or trying to eat her. Obviously we know he wouldn't have done that because he doesn't kill innocents, but he was just trying to fuck with her. Regardless, Peter's kind of phasing in and out of the black suit. He's not wearing it, but it was just recently not wearing it kind of situation. Or, maybe he sometimes wears it when he has to. Doesn't matter. Kraven putting on the black suit because the black suit's fucking cool. Goes up, beats up Spider-Man, then shoots him. So you think he kills Spider-Man. It's actually shoots him with a tranquilizer dart. He buries Spider-Man alive. Somehow does it so that he'll have 2 weeks worth of air. Don't know how that works. Kraven mentions it. He's like, "I buried you with 2 weeks worth of air." And then Kraven goes and beats up the rat guy. And in a great image and sequence, Spider-Man fucking, for his love of Mary Jane, because he wakes up in this grave and thinks about one thing, and that's seeing Mary Jane, digs himself out of the grave and goes, "All right, before I do any of that shit, I gotta beat up a stupid Kraven. I gotta beat the shit out of Kraven." So he goes to Kraven, beats the shit out of Kraven, beats the shit out of the rat guy. The rat guy's they send the rat guy to the Ravencroft Institute, which is basically Arkham Asylum, but for Spider-Man. And he beats the shit out of Kraven, and he's like, "Kraven, fuck you, I hate you," and leaves. And Kraven, the whole point Kraven wanted to do this was to prove that he could be this better Spider-Man because Spider-Man should kill people. That was the whole point. Is he's like, "I'm the better fucking Spider-Man. You failed." He was trying to show Spider-Man how to be the better Spider-Man. He fails. So Kraven goes to his house, gets in a coffin, picks up his shotgun. It might be a shotgun, and blows his brains out. Just kills himself, and we will not see Kraven for a good 30 30 years after this. He is actually dead, and they do not bring him back to life until recently.
Damn.
God
Good.
damn.
Perfect comic book. Genuinely, like I said, probably the best Spider-Man comic book ever written. It's great. That's sort of the 80s. Do we have any questions about the 80s?
No, that's just awesome.
Okay. Mikey, Stewie, any questions?
No.
I was gonna say they did my boy Ben dirty, and they're gonna continue doing him dirty in the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. I originally said I was gonna split this, but I feel like we're going pretty fast, so I'm just gonna keep going. We're just gonna do it because the 90s and the 2000s is when it gets to the stuff I just don't even want to talk about. So we'll make that shit
We
quick.
still get Deadpool.
So moving on in the 80s, there's a bunch of goblin stories, like Green Goblin stories and stuff. This is where we get introduced to the Hobgoblin. I think it might have been a little bit in the 70s, but like he's a lot in the 80s. Doesn't matter. Maybe I'm getting my times confused. I don't care. So the Hobgoblin shows up. He's like Orange Green Goblin. His origin story is he found old Green Goblin tech and just took it. He was like, "Oh, okay, cool." He's not crazy. He just wants money. Like he doesn't have superpowers. He just has Goblin tech. So he's robbing stores, and it's this really long mystery because you don't know who he is. Now, you know he's a character you know, but you're not sure, like, you know, who is the Hobgoblin. And Peter, like, is losing to him, or he always ends up getting away, and it's really fucking cool. Until in a book called, I think it's actually Spider-Man versus Wolverine, which is a thing they did, which is actually a really important story, so I'll cover it. Spider-Man, you know, he's a photographer for the Daily Bugle, and one of the reporters, Ned Leeds, who's married to Betty Brant, who I kind of briefly mentioned earlier, whatever, she works at the Daily Bugle. Ned and Peter are like, let's go to Germany. We got a story to get in Germany. We got a story to grab in Germany, right? So they go to Germany, and a bunch of ninjas show up because that's what it's a whole thing with Wolverine. And they fucking murder Ned Leeds. They just kill him.
They killed my boy Ned.
And they find him with a Hobgoblin suit. So everyone's like, oh, Ned Leeds is the Hobgoblin. That's a lie. Roger Kingsley is the Hobgoblin. Now, the reason Ned Leeds was the Hobgoblin, and he was the Hobgoblin for a good 10 years, is because, and I suck at names, so I don't know the name of the author. I feel bad. But the guy writing Spider-Man, who's writing all the Hobgoblin stuff, he's doing a great job. It's a great run of books. But Marvel Editorial did not like him, apparently, and they were basically like, tell us who the Hobgoblin is, or we will fire you. And he just looked at them and was like, fuck you. And so they fire him, and instead Marvel goes, okay, well, the Hobgoblin was Ned Leeds. And that's who they made it. Just wrong. And eventually the original author comes back and then makes it Roger Kingsley, like, later, and it makes a lot more sense, and it's really good. But I just wanted to mention that because it's like a fun... This is where you sort of get into the era of, like, editorial being like, we don't like that, so change that. And we get that a lot more later. But this is the start of that. So regardless, in Spider-Man vs. Wolverine, none of it's important other than the fact that Wolverine is in Germany because there's a woman he loves who's being hunted by, like, ninja. And Spider-Man's there because he's like, you know, he was there to photograph some shit. So now he's dealing with this problem because the ninjas killed Ned Leeds. So he's like, I gotta solve the problem. And at the end of the book, Spider-Man ends up going to this graveyard where Wolverine was supposed to meet his, like, love interest. And his spider sense goes off and he thinks it's Wolverine. Because him and Wolverine are they've been fighting the whole book. So he fucking backhands the person with the spider sense, and it turns out it was actually Wolverine's love interest trying to stab Spider-Man with a sword. So when Spider-Man backhands her, she flings into a, like, headstone and cracks her neck and dies. So this is, like, the first person Spider-Man ever killed. And obviously it was an accident, it was self-defense, sure. But it's important because it's like the first and maybe only person he's murdered. And, you know, Spider-Man doesn't murder people. It's a big thing. So just wanted to bring that up. Also a really good book, Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. It's fun. Especially if you're a Spider-Man fan, because he actually, like, beats the shit out of Wolverine, which he does often sometimes. And as a Spider-Man guy, thumbs up. I like that. Sucks to be a Wolverine fan, I guess. Not my fucking problem. So moving on the 80s, we got a nice marriage. You know, they're married. It's great. Except Marvel doesn't like Mary Jane. I don't know why. According to Marvel, they say it makes Peter less relatable because Peter's supposed to be the relatable luck, gets shit on constantly, but will stand up at the end of the day hero. And him being married to a hot supermodel actress wife is unrelatable. And while that's like semi-true, what is relatable is being married. Because at this point, most Spider-Man fans are in their 30s and they're married and have a life. But according to Marvel, that's not relatable and you're not allowed to do that. So no marriage. We'll get that later. But MJ gets on like a plane and her plane crashes, and you think for good like 3 real life months that she's fucking dead. But then everyone hated that because like in those months, Felicia comes back and some new love interests pop up, and everyone's like, Peter, you have to move on. Mary Jane is dead. And they really wanted her to be dead until all of the fans were like, no, and they stopped buying the book because they're like, I'm not gonna fuck you. So eventually they go, okay, our bad. Mary Jane actually was kidnapped by someone who is so obsessed with her show, Secret Hospital. Now, I don't know why it's called that. That's just what the show she was in is called. So they were so obsessed with Mary Jane's show that they the plane crash happened. Like hundreds of people died. But they somehow made it to where Mary Jane survived it, or just wasn't even on it or something, and kidnapped her and like kept her locked in a room for like 3 months because they loved her. So then Peter saves her. Or I think she kind of like saves herself, and then Peter shows up and he's like, I'm here to save you. And she's like, I already beat the shit out of the dude. And they're like, awesome, let's go have sex. They fuck a lot. They don't really like show the sex, but they show the lead up to it a lot, which I guess is how unrelatable Peter is, because Spider-Man fans don't have sex. So,
Damn.
Yeah, I said it. As a Spider-Man fan, can confirm. All right, that's all I'll say.
Tough time to be a Spider-Man fan.
Tough time. So moving on to the 90s, do we have any questions left about the 80s?
The 80s were raw.
It got kind of crazy for Spider-Man in the 80s, I'll be honest.
A lot of dying.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that, too. We'll get more
dying,
to that.
A lot of fucking.
Most definitely. Stewie, any questions? You repeat that? You kind of
Nah.
Okay. So moving on to the 90s, guys. Here is where we get the dreaded Clone Saga, the real Clone Saga. Okay?
Oh boy, I remember multiple hour-long rants about these.
I have explained this to the boys here a lot, dear viewers, and I'm gonna do it again. It's been a long time since I've read the Clone Saga. I have reread a lot of the 80s and some of the 70s comics. I've never reread the Clone Saga because it lasted like 6 years. I'm not fucking rereading that shit. There's no way in hell I'm reading 6 years worth of books again. So, best of my memory, I'll run down the Clone Saga. Okay. At this point, Peter's life has fucking gone to shit because Harry, we might be getting a little out of order here, but I'll run it down. Harry is Green Goblin, and one of the other best Spider-Man comic books ever written, which is written by J.M. DeMatteis, who also wrote Kraven's Last Hunt. So, dude's just a fucking hitter when it comes to Spider-Man. Like, homie just knows what he's doing. Goblin, Harry, is like, I'm gonna fuck with your life one last time, Spider-Man. So Peter's parents show back up. His parents were dead, and it turns out they were like SHIELD agents, and that they were kidnapped by Hydra, and they've been tortured for the past like 20 years, but now they're back, and they're back in Peter's life. Well, actually, it turns out those are life model decoys, which are just robots that were made by the Chameleon because Harry forced the Chameleon to make them, because Harry's like, I'm gonna fuck with your life, Peter, haha, fuck you. So when Peter and Harry have this, Peter's chasing him down, he beats the shit out of the Chameleon for making like fake parents, it's like a big moment because his parents are there with him for like a couple months, so you're like, wow, these are actually real, and then one day they're just not real, and you're like, okay, makes sense. Peter's not having it. He's on a downward spiral. Okay, it's not looking great for Peter right now. So Peter goes to beat up Harry. Him and Harry do have a fight, and then Harry ends up like, I think his heart just gives, and there's like a really fucking beautiful moment where Peter is with Harry in the like ambulance on the way to the hospital, and Harry just like dies, but he like apologizes for being insane, and it's really great because like they were best friends and now they're not, but then they end off, kind of being friends again. It's just a great moment. But this is where we get into the clones.
You're
Fucking
cutting hella out. You're
kill
cutting-
you.
cut
Kill
out.
me. I'm just gonna keep talking until it fixes itself.
There
I don't know why it
you're
does
chilling
this.
now.
Okay,
You're
I
chilling.
really don't understand why it cuts out. I don't know. Regardless, Peter's mind is broke at this point. You know, fake parents, best friend dead. He's not having
Life
the
sucks.
greatest. Yeah, he's not having the greatest of times. So what does he do? He gets up on his roof or his ceiling, covers himself in webs, and becomes what he calls "no more man. I'm gonna be the spider." That's a real line of dialogue, verbatim, not verbatim, but it's close enough. So Mary Jane runs in his room and is like, "Peter, what are you doing, man? Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "I'm the spider now." So he fucking really edgy. At which point, Aunt May starts dying. This is a 90-year-old woman. I mean, she's not 90. They kind of made it where she's supposed to be like 60 or 70, but like we as the fans know this woman has been on her deathbed for a very, very long time. Fun fact about Aunt May, she actually got remarried again. She's done that a couple times, but she got remarried again to a crippled guy who had a extreme gambling addict and like took all of her money and gambled it away. And then he ended up dying because the vulture killed him. I just want to bring that up. Fun little Spider-Man facts there. And I kind of skipped over Carnage. And if you guys want me to, I can get into Carnage. And I'm probably going to do that later. But if you want me to now, I'll do that right before the Clone Saga. But that's up to you guys.
Is Carnage important in Clone Saga?
I mean, he is.
Kinda.
Well, then
Later, he is kinda. It's weird.
Okay, I'll run it down. Carnage, fucking Venom. Like Venom at one point was in prison, like pre-Island was in prison, and then when he broke out, this is when we did the Island stuff. But while he was in prison, his cellmate Cletus Cassidy, fucking serial killer, was vibing, and Cletus Cassidy wanted to murder Eddie, and then the Venom symbiote showed up, and unbeknownst to anybody, the Venom symbiote just kind of pooped out a little, asexually reproduced a little offspring, who bonded to Cletus, and because the symbiotes take like the personalities of their hosts, and the more powerful the personality of the host, the more they're like corrupted. That's what they've kind of become. And because Cletus is a fucking insane serial killer, the Carnage symbiote also becomes an insane serial killer. And part of the reason it's red instead of just being like purely black is because it goes into Cletus's bloodstream, so it's like one with his blood, which is crazy. And this spawns an event called I think this is the start of Maximum Carnage, which is this 14 long issue event, which is fucking huge, by the way. Okay. That is very long, where like they gotta fight Carnage, and it's lame. It kind of sucks.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's stupid. There's like characters like the Shrike shows up, which is like Carnage's girlfriend, but not really, because Carnage is an asshole, but she likes Carnage. And then there's another character there who I can't remember his name, but he's called the Doppelganger, and he looks like Spider-Man, but he looks like a demon, and he has like 6 arms, and he becomes like Carnage and Shrike's kid. Cool facts though, when Carnage breaks out of prison, the first person he goes to murder is he like looks through the phone book and finds the dumbest name and then murders that person. That kind of shows how insane he is.
It's kind of funny,
right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny.
Right. So Spider-Man.
Do you know what name it was?
I don't know what name it was.
But
I'm sure it was stupid. So Spider-Man tries to fight Carnage and just gets his ass beat, because most symbiotes are weak to fire and sound because they come from the vacuum of space where those things like just don't exist, right? And then when you come to Earth, that's kind of what you're weak to. Mainly sound. Fire sort of like holds them back, but they can kind of deal with it, but sound will fuck them up. Carnage, because he was born on Earth and Venom had dealt with that shit, is not weak to that. A little, like you can kind of use it, but it's not going to work for more than like a couple seconds.
No, just give him like a little ripple.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I'm okay. So Spider-Man tries to beat him up. It doesn't work. So he goes to the island and is like, hey, Venom, actually, I know you've been here a couple of years. I'm actually alive, and I need your help. So this is the start of them kind of being homeboys, where they're like, okay, well, let's team up and fight Carnage. So then they fight Carnage with like the help of Cloak and Dagger, who are other Marvel superheroes. And it's stupid. But they beat him up. He goes to like a
You cut out
mostly, like,
real bad.
man.
I keep going. You cut.
Man, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. All right, I don't know what to tell you. Moving on. They beat up Carnage. Okay, we're gonna get to the Clone Saga. We're gonna get to the fun stuff. So,
Yeah, that's the way to describe it.
So we're in the Clone Saga. Peter is the spider now. All right, no man, nothing, just the spider. And he, Christ, he's being the spider, and Aunt May's dying. Okay, Aunt May's in the hospital dying, and we find out that for the past 5 years, so it's been 5 years since the original clone, when in reality, like our world has been like 25 years in comic world is like 5 years. Whatever. So for the past 5 years, this mysterious guy has been calling Aunt May. It's like pen pals with Aunt May, and it's really weird because he drives a bike and he has a mullet, but he's also got Peter's class ring. How the fuck did he get Peter's class ring? I don't know. They never explain that. But it's like, whoa, why does he have Peter's class ring? What's up with that, right? So Aunt May's dying. This mysterious guy figures out Aunt May's dying. So he shows up. And at the same time he's showing up, Peter shows up in a Spider-Man costume because he's trying to see his aunt. But he's also not Peter. He's still the spider, whatever. So they see each other on the roof. And what do? But immediately beat the shit out of each other because it's a comic book. They're fucking, and at this point, mysterious guy is like, oh, hold on, dog. My name's Ben Reilly. I'm your clone that you threw into the pit of fire. I'm actually alive. Let's calm down, okay? And Peter's like, fuck you, and then leaves. At this point, Peter sort of comes back to his senses because Aunt May's fucking dying. So they end up letting her out of the hospital, and another really good issue, I think it's issue 400. They take her back to her house, and then she dies, and her last words are like, Peter, I always knew you were Spider-Man. And like the reason I hated Spider-Man was because I knew it was you, so I was trying to like trick you out of being Spider-Man. Which is a really good retcon. That's a good idea. And then she fucking dies. And at the same time, Mary Jane's pregnant. Oh, you know what? MJ might, or not MJ, sorry. Aunt May might be dead, but life is kind of going okay for Peter now. He's back to his senses. His wife's pregnant. They're going to start a family. Also, there's another version of him sitting on the roof fucking crying while Aunt May's dying because he can't talk to her. That's kind of weird, but we'll ignore that. All right, Peter's having a decent time now. That is, until he decides to get his blood tested with Ben Reilly. Because he's like, Ben Reilly's like, let's get our fucking blood test, dude. I know this guy. He's chill. He's chill with me. He'll check our blood. So Ben Reilly, they check their blood, and it turns out that Peter, the Peter we've been with for the past 25 years, is actually the clone, and Ben Reilly is the real Spider-Man. So how does Peter react to this? He loses his fucking mind, backhands MJ across the room, fucking leaves. Yep, you heard me here, folks. Peter is a wife abuser. One time. Just like Ant-Man. For some reason, Ant-Man carries that with him, but nobody will ever talk about that with Peter. Don't know why. Don't know what this double standard is. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man, I did it like 8 times.
Well, it was one time, okay?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't.
In the Ultimate Comics, maybe, but in the main universe, Ant-Man did it once, and he forever will deal with that. Regardless, fucking at this point, Peter's like, oh, I'm not the clone, you're the guy. He's losing his mind. Him and Ben beat the shit out of each other. They end up going, okay, all right. Peter's like, I'm the clone. I'm going to leave. We're going to go to fucking Washington, not DC, Washington, the state. That's like all the way. I don't know why. That's forever. I think they go to Oregon, actually. Either way, they're going way far away
Same
from
fucking
New York.
place.
Right? It's like, woo, they're going everywhere. And Peter just goes to be a scientist. And all's great. It's all perfect for Peter over there in fucking Oregon or Washington. And at this point, Ben becomes Spider-Man. Ben's having a fucking whirl of a time as Spider-Man. And he's got a cool-ass costume. And he's like a young and hip Peter Parker. He's not married. He's not weighed down by the fucking weight of a wife. He could be young and relatable. So he has fun times. he looks exactly like Peter Parker, so I don't know how he dyes his hair blonde. So Peter Parker, I'm not entirely sure how he gets away with that, but whatever. I think they end up saying they're like cousins or something when it comes to it. He's like, yeah, I'm Peter's cousin, which is like, I don't know, you look exactly like him. It's kind of weird. But this is when we get introduced to characters like Kane. So Kane is going around leaving the mark of Kane on people. And we don't really know why this is happening. Like Kane just kind of shows up and he'll be like, mark of Kane. And then he touches you with his like all of his fingers and it like fucking disfigures your body and makes you all creepy looking. So that's what Kane's doing. And Kane wants to murder Ben Reilly. So Peter ends up coming back. Ben's like, dude, I need your fucking help. Like, I cannot deal with this shit. This shit's getting crazy. So Peter comes back. Now, but at this point, because Peter's been retired and because he's the clone, he's actually kind of lost his powers. Like, he doesn't really have superpowers right now. So all this crazy shit's happening with Kane. And we find out that Kane is actually the first clone of Peter Parker that the Jackal made. And Kane is evil because he wants, one, because the Jackal was an abusive piece of shit to him, and two, because he wants to murder Ben Reilly because he thinks that Ben Reilly is going to ruin the real Peter's life because he's around. So in doing this, Kane has murdered like countless people, which has inadvertently caused Peter to be arrested because it's his fucking DNA. So they arrest Peter Parker and they're like, okay, you have murdered like 10 people. You're going to jail, motherfucker. And I want to get into this little thing that I briefly forgot to mention because I can't remember the character's name. But around this time, a character named whatever showed up who's a fucking god. Okay? And this guy showed up and he was like, I'm really interested in this Spider-Man guy. I want to know what's up with this Spider-Man dude. So he shows up, he's got this whole like menagerie of dudes. He's got like 30 dudes with him who like are all spooky and they all have their own names. So they're like investigating this Spider-Man and they meet Ben Reilly and this god guy is like, you know, you're not the real Spider-Man. And Ben's like, but I am though. And he's like, give me the other one. So that's like the reason Peter comes back. That and the Kane stuff is the reason Peter comes back. So all this is happening with this god guy and shit. Peter ends up getting arrested. Ben Reilly shows up and Ben's like, dude, let me take your place. Like, I'll fucking take your place, whatever. And then Kane shows up and Kane's like, no, dude, I'm the killer. I'll take your place. All right, it was my fault. And then the god guy shows up and the god guy's like, why don't I just let you guys all free? How about that? You ever think about that? Isn't that kind of fun? So they end up doing that. And then there's like a trial of Peter Parker where Kane shows up and Kane's like, oh, I fucking murdered them all. And then leaves, just fucking runs away while the cops are chasing him. He's like, fucking losers. Kane goes away for a long time. And at this point, Peter's like, dude, whew, man, am I fucking right? That shit's crazy. Ben's like, yeah, that's insane. Whatever. I'm going to go back to being Spider-Man. At this point, MJ's pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. And she has a miscarriage. Now, why does she have a miscarriage? She doesn't just have a miscarriage, no. In fact, our favorite character, Norman Osborn, has come back to life. How? The Goblin Serum can bring people back to life. That's really the only answer you're going to get ever. And he poisons Mary Jane. So she has a miscarriage. It's sad. It's, you know, it's depressing. You really thought he was going to have a kid. It would have been awesome, but no. So Peter doesn't know this, though. It just kind of happened, right? She had a miscarriage. It sucked. And he keeps getting these like messages, like real Peter, not Ben. Like Peter's getting these messages where it's like, oh, we have her. So you think the way they hinted it is that the child, like there wasn't actually a miscarriage. The doctor lied and then just took the baby. That was like that's what we thought was happening. That's what everyone thought was happening. That's what they were hinting at. So Peter's fucking like he's starting to get his powers back, but he doesn't really have his powers back. So he's like rampaging through. He's fucking running through. I should mention the god guy left because it turns out he was actually an insane old man who was a mutant. And his mutant power was that whenever his mutant power activated, he became God, essentially. And then they just like beat him up and turned his power off or whatever. And so he's gone. They sent him to an insane asylum.
Like, what the fuck did he do? Like,
not that he becomes God, but just his mutant power allows him to, it warps reality around himself. So he's basically God, but not really. It's fucking stupid. So Peter's like chasing down these messages, right? He's like, all right, who do they have? Who do they have? And he ends up finding Aunt May. Because Aunt May is alive.
Huh?
Was actually an actor that Norman Osborn hired. Got face surgery. She got face surgery to look exactly like Aunt May. And then pretended to die.
That's
And Aunt May's actually been in this fucking bunker for like 10 months. Peter saves her. She doesn't know he's Spider-Man, by the way. That was just shit the actor made up that Norman told her to say. So we're back to square one. No kid. There is still a clone, but Aunt's alive as well. So this is where the crazy shit happens, where like they're beating up Norman, and then he's like, I planted a bunch of bombs. I'm fucking Green Goblin. So like Peter, who doesn't really have his powers, and Ben, who does have his powers, are like, oh, let's go, dude. Let's go beat up the Green Goblin. And like the glider is coming at Peter, and Ben jumps in the way because Ben's just such a nice dude. He's a fucking great guy. I love Ben Reilly. And then Ben melts. And this is where you find out he's actually the clone. And then Norman hired the guy who was Ben's friend to fake the DNA test to make it seem like Ben was the real one, but in actuality, Ben was the clone. And now Peter's got his powers back. So it's time for Peter to be Spider-Man again. He's still married, which I'm sure Marvel fucking hated. But you know what? He's still married. He's gonna be Spider-Man again. It's time for a fucking great time. We're gonna have a great existence. His period kind of sucked. So the Clone Saga was terrible, and a bunch of stuff happened. Like Doc Ock died, and like a female Doc Ock showed up, and like Doc Ock had a girlfriend who was like fat and ugly, or she thought she was fat and ugly. So she would get into a VR machine that like holo projected a VR version of herself, who was like basically Wonder Woman, and it was like tangible, so you could touch it. That happened. A bunch of nonsense happened. Like Ben and Venom were like hatred because Venom showed up and Venom was like, oh, hey, what's up, Peter? And then Ben would just beat the shit out of him because Ben didn't know about like the deal they made, that they were kind of homies. So then now Venom hates Spider-Man again. We basically moved everything back to square one, right? Like everything you could think of that changed. Like Sandman's now a villain again. Like everything has been just no more clones, no villains, good guys, whatever. Moving to the early 2000s, real quick, any questions about anything in the 90s?
Oh,
Mikey's
wait.
No.
The female Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that one.
Let me find a picture here. I'll just shove the picture on screen after I find it. I mean, she's literally just like a girl that's like Doc Ock. Here, this is like the most famous.
But like, was it like?
She's
just a
not like
clone?
Doc Ock. No. It's just like a girl with Doc Ock arms.
Oh,
She's not like Doc Ock turned female. Yeah. Fingers were going. Yeah. Stewie, Mikey, any questions about the Clone Saga / the 90s?
No, I want to get as far away from the Clone Saga as I possibly can.
Well, we're only going to get worse from here. Well, we're going to get a little better, and then we're going to get a lot worse. So strap in.
Oh boy.
After the 90s, this, by the way, is when Marvel went fucking bankrupt. The comic industry, like, the bubble burst, and it was not going well, and the Clone Saga was not selling well. Really, the only characters at Marvel that were doing well were the X-Men. Surprisingly, they got out unscathed. It was going great for the X-Men. And also at this point, Image had come out, so like characters like Spawn and Savage Dragon, those kind of characters were coming out, and they were making a lot more money than like Marvel and DC. So Marvel went bankrupt. This is when they sold all their movie rights, and a lot because of the Clone Saga as well, because like fans fucking hated the Clone Saga. It was awful, as I have explained. So they sold all their movie rights, whatever, and they're like, okay, you know what? We need to get back to it. We need to bring Spider-Man back. So they get a bunch of writers to try to get Spider-Man back, and it's just not working. It's just not good. Like, it's not as bad as the Clone Saga, but it's not going well, right? So they're like, okay, whatever. And at this point, Peter and MJ they haven't broken up, but they've separated, right? Because they're still married, but they're not seeing each other anymore. And they're thinking maybe a divorce. Problem is, she can't get a divorce because divorce makes people look old. So they're making it seem like MJ is just gonna fucking cheat on Peter, and that's when J. Michael Straczynski comes in, and he gets to write. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man writers. He writes, in my opinion, some of the best Spider-Man books outside of like Kraven's Last Hunt. And he comes in, and Marvel goes, "All right, dude, get them back together. People are mad they're not together. Get Mary Jane and Peter back together." And he takes his sweet fucking time. Like, he builds this shit up like it's real. Like, these characters are acting like real people. It's tragic. It's sad. This is when they introduce Morlun, who is a villain of the Spider-Verse story, which we will get to a little bit later. But Morlun shows up, and I want to explain this because this is like my second favorite Spider-Man story. And Morlun shows up, and he's like a vampire dude who, according to this old guy Ezekiel, who also has spider powers, Morlun travels universes, eating people who are spider totems. Now Ezekiel is like, "Peter, just so you know, your powers are from this ancient spider god." And Peter hears that and goes, "Shut the fuck up, you absolute buffoon." And that's the end of that. And Ezekiel's like, "Okay, but Morlun eats the spider totem people, so he's gonna try to eat you." And this like has one of my favorite things where Ezekiel's like, "Okay, you hide in this bunker so Morlun can never find you." And Peter's like, "I am not a bitch, you old man. I am leaving." And it's one of my favorite single Spider-Man issues because the entire issue is like Peter and Morlun fighting, and Morlun is just got the better of him because he's like draining his energy because he's like an energy vampire. So he's like, speaking of vampires, by the way, Morbius is a character that exists, and that's all I will say.
Not gonna talk about him. We're not gonna talk about him.
All I will say is Morbius is a character that exists, and that's it. So like in this really
Please
cool
go
issue,
into detail
Dr.
of
Michael
Morbius.
Dr. Michael Morbius wanted to solve a lot of fucking blood problems. Vampire, it turned him into a vampire. Am I cutting out, by the way?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I figured. And my Discord just said, "Oh, red." Dr. Michael Morbius made himself a vampire. He tried to eat people. Spider-Man was like, "Oh, I'll help you." At the same time, though, Spider-Man tried to cure himself with spider power. So at this point, he had like 6 arms because like two other arms, maybe it was only 4 arms, but like other arms popped out of his fucking body. So then he was like turning into a spider dude, and then he was fighting Morbius, and then he doesn't cure Morbius, but he stops Morbius, and then he cures himself, and he's back to just being normal Spider-Man. Moving on. That's Morbius. Not really a villain, sort of just like an accident. Morlun and Spider-Man, and one of the coolest issues. It's an entire issue of them just beating the shit out of each other, and Peter's losing the whole time, and the dialogue is just great. I just love the dialogue about it. I won't go into like specifics, but there's just like fantastic moments where Peter's like, "Okay, fuck, a moment to breathe. I have a moment to breathe." And then Morlun will like pick up, like you see in the background, Morlun's like fucking destroying buildings, and he's like trying to kill children, and Spider-Man immediately dives in, and it's the one thing I want to mention. There's a great moment where he picks up a kid and he's about to kill a kid, and earlier Spider-Man was like, "I can't feel anything. I'm completely numb. My entire body is like ruined." And then when he picks up the kid, he's like, "I lied. I feel one thing. I feel rage." And then he like jumps at Morlun. It's fucking awesome. And he's gonna die. Spider-Man is fucking losing. So he takes out like the only quarters he has, pops him in the payphone, thinks about calling the Avengers or the Fantastic Four for help, and then ends up just calling Aunt May, saying he loves Aunt May, he loves her. Goodbye. Hangs up the phone. Goes to fight Morlun. At this point, Ezekiel finally shows up and is like, "All right, man, I'll help out. We'll help." Ezekiel fucking dies. Morlun beats the shit out of Ezekiel. He dies. Peter goes, "Holy fuck." Also, Ezekiel comes back to life, by the way. He never actually died. They do that shit later, whatever. Ezekiel's lame. Sorry, Ezekiel. He's also going to be in the Madam Web movie that Sony's making. I just wanted to bring that up because they're making that movie. I didn't bring up Madam Web. She's like a really old lady who we'll get to later. So Ezekiel dies, and Spider-Man is like, "I'm gonna prove that I'm radiation and not some stupid totem." So he goes to a radiation plant, injects himself with radiation, just pure fucking gamma, like radioactivity, whatever, just a pop in his veins, and he fucking passes out because that'll kill you, like that's not good for your body. So Morlun shows up, and Morlun's just like, okay, well, you killed yourself. And the way Morlun like absorbs energy is he like just touches you and it works. So he's like, oh, you fucking murdered yourself? All right, lame ass. Okay, let me just absorb the rest of your energy. And he absorbs the energy, and it's just pure radiation. It almost murders Morlun. Peter wakes up and he's like, that's right, and then beats the shit out of Morlun. Doesn't kill him because that's not what he does. Thinks about it. And then this sidekick that Morlun had the entire time that he's basically held under hostage runs in with a fucking shotgun and blows Morlun away, killing Morlun. And Spider-Man's like, dude, you killed him. And the sidekick's like, I don't give a shit, and leaves. He's like, I am gone. Fuck this vampire. And Spider-Man's like, you know what? I can't complain. I'm going to go home. He's like, I'm going to go fucking take a nap. So he goes home. And because he called Aunt May, while Peter, I'm combining their names now. Peter is sleeping in his bed in his destroyed Spider-Man costume. Fucking Aunt May walks in because like that was a weird phone call to get, and finds out he's Spider-Man, which leads to another set of the best issues of Spider-Man ever written, where it's literally just called The Conversation, and the entire issue, no fights, no nothing. It's just Peter and Aunt May talking about why he's Spider-Man, why he does what he does, and like how Aunt May is going to handle this situation. And it's great. And for the rest of the JMS run, Aunt May is like helping Spider-Man. There's like a fun little montage where she cancels all her subscriptions to like the Daily Bugle and other places that hate Spider-Man. And then she emails all of them and is like, actually, I think you should know that Spider-Man is like really cool. And he's like actually a really good dude. And you should stop shitting on him. Like that's real. It's awesome. And then he starts to get back with MJ. And he just has fun Spider-Man adventures, but this time with Mary Jane and Aunt May. And it's going great. And then the dreaded year of 2006 hits. Okay? Now, I don't know if you guys know what happens in 2006. I couldn't tell you anything that happened outside of this Spider-Man stuff. So Civil War happened. Big event. You know, everybody's beating the shit out of each other. Whatever, right? And, I gotta pull back. Sorry. 2004, a story called The Other came out. Ezekiel came back to life, or he'd never died anyways. I'm bringing this up because I hate this shit. A certain film franchise had started coming out where Spider-Man had organic webs, and because Marvel needed to tie in to the movies, because if a kid picked up a comic book and saw web shooters, he put it down immediately. He couldn't buy that book because that wouldn't make any fucking sense. So Ezekiel comes back and is like, hey, just so you know, the spider totem shit is actually real now. That's a real thing. And he kidnaps Peter, takes Peter to this ancient African temple, has Peter do like a blood sacrifice. And then Peter's like rebirthed. And now he's got organic web shooters and he's got spider claws. So like bones pop out of his hands. And now he's got like fucking claws. It's dumb. So this is happening. And the Civil War happens. Where Spider-Man, he reveals his identity to the public because Iron Man paid him, which is really stupid, and he would never do that because it immediately results in the Kingpin trying to assassinate him, and the bullet accidentally hits Aunt May because Spider-Man fucking dodges out of the way of the bullet. He goes, oh, a bullet. All right, I'll move. And then Aunt May gets shot. So Aunt May, this 80-year-old woman, just got shot by a fucking sniper rifle. I don't think I have to spell out that she's not making it. It's not looking good for this old woman. She's somehow still alive. So Peter takes her to the hospital, and she's like, and he's like, you gotta help my aunt, whatever. And they're like, yeah, I mean, we'll keep her alive for a couple hours, but she ain't making it, buddy. And he's like, no, that's not fucking possible. And they're like, do you have money? And he's like, no. And they're like, okay, well, we'll have to put her in the charity ward. And it's this weird thing where Peter's like, no, the fucking charity ward. I will have my aunt in the charity ward. And it's like, been poor your entire life. Get over it. Like, whatever. Okay, I'll move on. The charity ward thing really makes me angry. I'm just whatever. So he goes to like Iron Man, and he's like, Iron Man, can you fucking save my aunt? And Iron Man's like, no, and also I hate you because you switched to Captain America's team in the middle of the Civil War. Get the fuck out of here. So then Spider-Man beats the shit out of Iron Man, like actually just beats the shit out of Iron Man. He's like, fuck you, Tony. Whatever. He goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, dude, maybe it's her time. Like, she's dead. I can't really help you with that. I'm sorry. Which is total bullshit. He could absolutely help her. Like, he's Dr. fucking Strange. Whatever. This whole thing is happening, by the way, because Marvel, the heads at Marvel, they finally figured out. They found their time. They're gonna unmake the marriage because they fucking hate the marriage. This leads to Peter making a deal with the literal devil to undo his marriage in a story called One More Day. Maybe my least favorite thing fucking ever written. Like, my least favorite fictional thing ever written. I fucking because they brought in J. Michael Straczynski to bring the marriage back. And then after 4 or 5 years of this great book about this awesome married couple, Marvel goes, now unmarry them, to the same writer, tells him, he's like, fucking get rid of it. And you know what? Straczynski, fucking power to. Yeah, I will do it. So he writes this whole book, One More Day, where, you know, Peter's going to everyone. It's the whole thing where I was saying he's going to everyone, and it results. There's even an issue, by the way, where fucking God, and I don't mean like, oh, some guy with super, I mean literal fucking God goes, hey, Peter.
Straight up God?
Yes. Goes, hey, Peter, listen. Look at all these people you've saved. Look at all these millions of women, children, men, whatever, of people you've saved. Look at that. Isn't that great? That's what you do. Sometimes they just die. He's like, sometimes, Aunt May, you know, your aunts are just going to die. And Peter looks at God and basically tells him to
there's time to cut.
I see that I'm, you know, Discord was killing me. Basically, yeah. Peter tells God to shove a dick up his ass and get the fuck out of Peter's face because Peter wants his aunt back. So Peter goes.
Is that do we ever hear more about God?
Nah, I mean, God exists in the Marvel universe, but no more about Peter. Yeah, he's just there. Literal issue though, where he talks to God. So then Peter, after talking with God, goes, you know what? I'm gonna go to the devil. I'm gonna fucking flip. And he goes to fucking Mephisto, the Marvel Universe devil, and he's like, all right, Mephisto, bring back my aunt, man. He's like Peter's a fucking whiny loser in this book. It's awful. And Mephisto's like, yeah, okay, I'll bring back your aunt if you give me the best thing in the universe. I want your marriage. Peter, zero hesitation, looks at Mary Jane and goes, my aunt though. And she's like, okay, fine. And Mephisto also kind of throws in that he's gonna hide Peter's identity again. So it'll be like he never let his identity out, right? He just kind of chucks that in there as like a side benefit. He's like, okay. So then there's like this issue where Peter and Mary Jane spend 24 hours just like cuddling each other in the fucking dark on their couch. And that's the last 24 hours they spend. So then Mephisto's like, okay, I'm going to take your fucking, he takes the marriage. And at this point, Straczynski, he's wrote, I think it's like 5 of the 6 issues of One More Day. And he has this entire fucking timeline laid out where he's like, okay, here's how everything would change because of the marriage goes away. Like everything would be different, right? And then Marvel editorial comes in and goes, no, we don't fucking need any of that. And Straczynski's like, well, what are you talking about? Like everything would be different. And they're like, no, fuck all that. Nothing, whatever.
Jesus.
We'll change what we want to change. So then Straczynski fucking leaves before he finishes the book. He's like, no, fuck this. I'm not doing this. So then Marvel comes in and they fucking write their ending. And now like Harry Osborn's back to life, but he's not Goblin. He's like a good guy. Aunt May's back. She doesn't know he's Spider-Man. We put that back in the bottle. That never happened. Him and Mary Jane were like a super serious couple for like 20 years. And then they just broke up because according to Marvel editorial, Mary Jane hates when Spider-Man is Spider-Man because she thinks it takes away from their marriage, even though that's like not Mary Jane at all. Like she loves that he's Spider-Man, she loves that about him. Whatever. So they've broken up. They toyed with the idea of bringing Gwen Stacy back to life. I've heard rumors of that. I don't know if that's fully true, but then they just didn't. Thank fucking Christ. I would be very angry if Gwen Stacy came back to life. So then Peter's unmarried. He's not in a relationship anymore, so he can fuck. All right, that's really what they care about. Peter can be a bachelor because that's everyone's favorite part about Spider-Man, I guess. This was like 2006, by the way. So we got any questions about 2000s at all?
Oh, but it
No.
does sound like Marvel editorial should keep their grimy fingers out of
We'll get to more of
literally
that.
anything.
It's gonna get worse.
Oh, do they?
It doesn't.
They
It doesn't
keep
get
doing
better. It does not
They
get
don't.
better.
They never learn.
No.
Uh-oh.
So no questions. So we can.
No, this is
No,
just.
let's-
I'm
let's
just
continue.
in awe of
Okay.
how they think this is a good idea with
So
their
then we have a
business.
thing. So that was, I think, that was called brand new, where you were getting 3 Spider-Man comics a month from 3 different teams. So it'd be one team, like one writer, one artist, one writer, whatever. And the idea was they didn't want to reuse any old villains. They wanted it to all be new villains. So this is where like Mr. Negative and there's another one. I can't remember the guy's. Oh, like Cardiac, who's like a doctor who wants to save people, but he has to do bad things to do it. Mr. Negative is the only cool one. There's a guy called Overdrive who drives a car really fast. That's the kind of shit we're working with, by the way. Like that's the level we've got going on here. So this goes on for a while, and they eventually choose Dan Slott to sort of write Spider-Man because he's been writing the best stuff. And some of this is okay. Like I don't really remember most of it because it's like not the greatest, but it's fine. It's just after you ruin the marriage, you're kind of like, why do I even anymore? Regardless, they bring in Dan Slott to like write the main Spider-Man book. So they only do 1 book a month now. They get rid of the 3 thing because that's like too much. So they're doing 1 book a month. Dan Slott's writing Spider-Man. It's actually going really good now. Like it in it, but Dan Slott's doing a good job. Kill me, whatever. Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Cool. Dan Slott's writing Spider-Man. He's writing a thing called Big Time, which is just sort of like the time period we're in, where it's just like Spider-Man's working at Horizon Labs, which is kind of like Google, basically. I mean, they don't make like software tech; they kind of make anything, but it's like what you hear about the Google studios, where it's like, yeah, we have ball pits and we have fun, right? That's what Horizon Labs is. Like Spider-Man's finally an actual scientist. It's going great. He's got a love interest named Carly Cooper, who's on the police force. Spoilers, I won't get much into Carly. It doesn't go well for her. Norman Osborn kidnaps her and turns her into the fucking Goblin Queen. She's a goblin person. She's insane. I won't talk about her, but that's what happens to her.
Cool.
So we're gonna, he's getting a bunch of new suits. Like he's got all this technology. He can make like the stealth suit, and he's doing all this shit, right? And eventually, he has this big fight with Doc Ock, or like one last fight with Doc Ock, and there's like. And now Doc Ock is like decrepit looking, like he's basically like a corpse because Dan Slott writes this thing where it's like Doc Ock doesn't have superpowers. So every time Peter punches him, it's like a truck hitting a dude's head because that's how much, like Peter can punch like that. So Doc Ock is fucking dying. And he has this big event with the Sinister Six where he's like, let's like take the world hostage so I can get his plan. He builds a bunch of satellites that can fix climate control, but they can also do the opposite and make climates like really bad. So they test it and it like passes out, like an entire fucking country passes out from a heat wave and almost dies. And Doc Ock's like, here's what we're gonna do. You guys are gonna give me a shit ton of money. I'm gonna build more satellites to completely get rid of climate, like to fix the climate, basically. And you're going to make a bunch of universities named after me because I want to be famous. So Peter calls in the Avengers and beats up the Sinister Six. And at the end of the story, to finish Doc Ock, he puts on this helmet Doc Ock made. And it like chips in the back of Peter's mind, and Doc Ock's fucking consciousness is downloaded into Peter Parker's mind, taking over Peter Parker's body, which starts Superior Spider-Man, which is actually a really fun book where like.
Why does he put on the helmet?
He puts on the helmet because Doc Ock has a bunch of like drones and all these satellites controlling the world, and Peter has to put on the helmet to stop them.
Oh.
Because Doc Ock is like fucking dead. He's not. He's almost dead, but he can't stop him. So Peter becomes Doc Ock, and it's a fun story called Superior Spider-Man, where like the whole arc of the story is that like Doc Ock learns how to be. He learns how to be a good guy. It's like a redemption story for Doc Ock because him and like Peter in decrepit Doc Ock body like breaks out of prison and tries to get his body back. And then as they have their one last fight, and Peter and Doc Ock's body dies, Doc Ock gets all of Peter's memories, including like the great power, great responsibility thing. So he's like, oh fuck, I have that now, but I'm gonna be superior. Like he doesn't have a problem with killing people. He's like, I will be a hero, but I will fuck you up. So for instance, there's like a fun moment where he's fighting the Vulture. I think it's either the Vulture or the Scorpion, but he's fighting one of them.
I'm pretty sure.
It's the Scorpion. So he's fighting the Scorpion, and he like punches the Scorpion in his jaw and fucking shatters his entire bottom jaw. And there's a moment where Doc Ock's like, holy shit, I did not realize Spider-Man was this powerful, which is like a fun moment. There's also another moment in there where the serial killer is holding up like a train station in New York or whatever, and Doc Ock comes in and just fucking shoots him in the head. He just kills him because he's like, I don't care, whatever. And at the end of the story, Doc Ock's fighting Green Goblin, because this whole time Green Goblin's been like, haha, I'm gonna fucking take over New York. And he's like the Goblin King, and he controls all the other goblins, like Hobgoblin works for him and all this shit. So he takes over New York, and Doc Ock's like, I can't actually fight the Goblin. I'm weaker than the Goblin. So then he finally lets Peter like come back, and it's like a fun moment because Peter's like, Goblin and Doc Ock are fighting, and Doc Ock doesn't really make jokes because that's not who he is. And when Peter finally comes back, he makes fun of Goblin's man purse. And it's just a fun moment where Goblin's like, holy shit, my man is back. Yes. And he's like fucking happy that Peter's finally fun. Peter beats the shit out of him. That's the end of that. And Doc Ock dies. Or so you think, because actually Doc Ock had earlier in the 70s, he made a robot called the Living Brain. It's just a robot. And before he died, he put his brain inside the Living Brain. That way he wouldn't die. And this is where we get into Parker Industries, because the last thing Doc Ock did is he got Peter a PhD and has started a company as Peter. So Peter is basically taken over this company, and he's like, oh, right? And it's really fucking stupid because he pretends that Spider-Man is his bodyguard, because that would fucking work somehow. Like, you could somehow get away with that. Like, that's how Spider-Man's connected to the company and it always shows up. It's because he's Peter's bodyguard. But, they've never been in the same room together. So, I don't know. Whatever. And this whole thing, Parker Industries, is all about the Jackal, his comeback. Now, I didn't really touch on the Jackal during the Clone Saga. Wait, what'd you say, Nolan?
I said, oh boy.
Okay, yeah. So the Jackal in the Clone Saga, right? He's an old dude, and in the 90s, I didn't touch on this because I didn't want to, but he turns himself into like a green. He looks like what a goblin from a fantasy universe would look like, but he still calls himself the Jackal, and he's like green and ugly and weird, and he's made like 1,000 Gwen Stacy clones because he keeps fucking them all, and they keep dying, and it's stupid. So the Jackals come back. But it isn't a green dude. It's like a dude in a Anubis like jackal mask. Like an ancient Egyptian mask, right? And Peter's like, what's going on? So this is what starts the clone conspiracy. Dead No More. That's what the story's called. And Peter's like fighting the Jackal, and it's like, dude, what the fuck's happening? And at this point also Kane has come back, and Kane is sort of a superhero now. And Kane and Spider-Gwen, who's from a different universe, but she's in this one just because, are trying to stop the Jackal, because in every other universe with spider people, the Jackal wins and takes over the world, but accidentally in the process turns everyone into zombies. Now, they don't know why, though. And they don't tell Peter this, because Peter, every time, apparently sides with the Jackal, and they don't know why either. So they just don't tell Peter anything. They just don't warn him about this. They're just like, get out of here, Peter. So the whole time Peter's like, who the fuck is this Jackal guy? And another company pops up called New You. And they can like clone you. But the thing is you have to take these pills, or else like you'll fucking evaporate into dust. And after some whole shenanigans, we find out that this new Jackal is Ben Reilly, who came back to life.
What?
somehow. He's now evil. And I don't mean like New You is like kind of evil but still good intentions. No, he's straight up a fucking villain.
They massacred my boy.
It's terrible. Okay? It's genuinely awful. And his whole plan is he brings back all these villains. But like at this point, Rhino was dead. He brings back Rhino. Like he brings back everybody who's ever fucking died, including George Stacy and Gwen Stacy. And then he goes up to Peter and he's like, "Hey Peter, I can bring back Uncle Ben. Just give me the A-OK." And Peter is like, because he's Peter, he's like, "No, dude, you're fucking insane." So they fight. And then meanwhile, Kane and Spider-Gwen, they like reverse engineer this like satellite he has or something, and it sends out this shockwave that like kills all the clones. And it turns out that that satellite, if Peter had sided with Jackal, would have like malfunctioned and turned everyone into zombies. So that's the whole zombie thing. But because Peter didn't side with Jackal, because why the fuck would he? It didn't turn everybody into zombies, basically. Like it's something really stupid like that. And then Ben Reilly like leaves. He's like, "Oh fuck, man, I'm bad now," and he like leaves. And it's stupid. They like ruin Ben Reilly's character. It's awful.
For no reason.
While this is happening, two little fun facts. Electro has a girlfriend who also gets electricity powers and then accidentally kills Electro or something like that. Whatever. And then also, the living brain, aka Doc Ock, was working with Ben Reilly, and the one thing he asked was he wanted a hot body because he didn't want to be fat and he wanted a sexy body. So Doc Ock is back, but he's in like a sexy hot body.
So he's back, just sexy.
Yes. I'm gonna wait. I was lagging a little bit there. I think I could tell that one. So Doc Ock's back, right? That's where I ended.
Yeah.
And he's sexy.
Yes, he's hot and sexy now, and he becomes the Superior Spider-Man again in his own solo book, which is like really is a decent book. It was fun, and I'm bringing this up because it's kind of important. Because at the end of his book, Marvel did the Marvel thing where nothing can be different. Everything has to go back to the same. So Doc Ock, in order to save somebody, has to make a deal with Mephisto to where he saves somebody that he loves, he saves their life, but he goes back to being evil and fat, and he can never be different. So Doc Ock will forever be evil and fat now, just so we're on the same page, you know, just because.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, after this, the Parker Industries ends. Peter ends up, like, he loses it because it turns out that Doc Ock copied his own thesis paper to get Peter a PhD, and everyone's like, "Bro, why the fuck did you copy Doc Ock's thesis paper?" Because no one knows he was Doc Ock for that short period of time, so it's not like you could tell them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, the 2018, this is when all this stuff ends. 2018, the Nick Spencer Spider-Man run starts. Now, this shit started fucking strong. This shit was the best run we've had in years. This stuff was great. And now notice I say it started strong because, boy, we're going to get there. So Nick Spencer, writing Spider-Man for a while, he's taking his sweet fucking time, though. Like, it's taken a while. He's setting up this guy named Kindred. Kindred's got these, like, centipede demons, right? And it's like, ooh, you know. Real quick before we get into Kindred, I apologize, I have to keep doing this. I forgot about a story called Sins Past. Now, I've told you guys about Sins Past, which is why I think I forgot about it. But Sins Past is the story where Gwen Stacy's children showed up, and you find out that Norman Osborn actually fucked him and Gwen Stacy fucked, and then the reason he wanted to kill Gwen Stacy is because she had his kids but wouldn't give him his kids, so he was like, "Fuck you, bitch," and then threw her off a bridge. That's Sins Past.
Slay.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Also, one of his kids is like the Silver Goblin. Fucking whatever. So we're getting to the current run, or not current, but one of the current runs, Nick Spencer run, right? They're teasing this guy Kindred. He's got like these centipedes, and he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but we don't know who he is. So there's a reason I brought up Sins Past, is because people are like, "Oh, what if he's Uncle Ben?" Which was that was a dumb fucking theory. You're like, what if he's Uncle Ben, right? What if he's Harry Osborn? Because Harry at this point, nobody knew what to do with Harry. So people were like, oh, what if like Harry turned evil again? Because ever since he came back to life, he's just sort of been there and a good guy. So like, oh, what if it's Uncle Ben? What if it's Harry? What if it's one of Gwen's kids? What if it's Gwen, right? Because I didn't mention this, but at the end of the clone conspiracy, Peter is talking to the Gwen clone, and she's like, I fucking hate you because you lied to me, because when I was on the bridge, when in the real book I was asleep, I actually pretended to be asleep, found out you were Spider-Man, and I fucking hate you for lying to me. Fuck you, Peter. And then she evaporates into dust. So people are like, oh, what if Gwen Stacy's evil now, right? You're like, whoa, that would be crazy. Who knows? So then 50 issues go by, which is far too long, by the way. That's way too long.
It was a long run.
But in between, it's fun, like you're having fun with it, because the one thing Nick Spencer wanted to do was get Peter and MJ back together, which we hadn't had since 2006. So it's like as me, right? I'm reading this shit and people are like, it's really boring. And I'm like, nah, dude, Peter and MJ are back. Like, I don't care how fucking boring this is. This is all I've wanted for years. So at the 50 issue mark, we find out that Kindred, who has like devil powers, like he can control people's emotions and shit, whatever. He is Harry Osborn. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Xander, you told me that Harry Osborn was alive and a good guy, so why would he be evil again? Well, here's the fucking kicker, okay? Norman Osborn, for some reason, to get like fame and power, sold his like unborn first child soul to fucking Mephisto. So, okay, now hold on. So when Harry dies, originally in like the 90s, Mephisto takes his soul, right? He's got a soul in his jar. So Harry's dead. Now Harry comes back, and it's sort of like a fake Harry that's alive. Like it's like a robot Harry almost. Okay? So then eventually, Harry's evil soul gets free, and he's like, bro, I'm still evil, even though he shouldn't be, but he is. And he hates Peter because, and this is the part, he hates Peter because Peter's life can't change. Which is like, this is almost like meta commentary, on like comics. And it's like really weird because you're like, what the fuck? What? And I don't mind Harry being evil again. That's kind of interesting and fun. But it's like, why is he talking about Peter's life not changing and fucking what? You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. So they end up beating him. And at this point, Peter's like, you know what? I got to change my life. And he buys a wedding ring. And he's got to propose to Mary Jane. Now some things get in his way, Obviously. The main thing being Sin Eater. He's come back to life. The last thing Kindred did is he brought Sin Eater back to life. Because Sin Eater had died after his first story, and you never really saw Sin Eater again. Whatever. So Sin Eater's come back to life. And this time he's got a magic shotgun that when he shoots you...
Magic shotgun.
When he shoots you, it sometimes will kill you, or it'll take your sins away. So,
what does that mean?
I'll get to it. So there's this big story where like Peter's chasing down Sin Eater, and then the characters I didn't mention because I fucking hate the Spider-Verse, which is this idea that there's a bunch of universes where there's a bunch of Spider-Man. I think the idea is really fucking stupid. All these characters show up, so like Miles, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, Madam Web, the other Spider-Woman, because there's like 7 of them. They all show up, and they're all like, oh no, we've seen the future. We have to stop Peter. Peter's gone crazy. He's gonna kill Norman Osborn. So that, because Norman's all like fucking insane, like Norman's crazy. So they show up and they're like, Peter, we have to stop you. You're gonna kill Norman Osborn. And it's just actually this fun moment where Peter's like, fuck you guys. I'm not gonna kill Norman. He's like, I've wanted to kill Norman for years. I'm not gonna do it now. But he kind of does. Because he has Norman in his grasp and he doesn't kill him. And Norman's like, haha, you can't fucking kill me, you loser. Ha ha ha. And Peter's like, you know what? Instead of killing you, he drops him out of wherever. I think they're in a car. He like jumps him out of the car. And then the Sin Eater shoots Norman Osborn. So you're like, oh my God. Peter let him kill Norman Osborn. Actually, the gun absorbed Norman's sins. So instead of killing Norman, it just made him a good guy. So he's just not evil anymore.
It was painful reading those.
So
that's really goofy.
So Nick Spencer originally, this is like rumored, but originally he was supposed to write 100 issues. So now we're at like the 60 mark, right? And Marvel cancels it. They say you can end at 75 or 74, I think, something like that. Like they cut his run short. The reason they did that is because they didn't want him to marry Mary Jane to Peter again, because that was how he was going to end the run. So they canceled it, so he couldn't do that, right? But the last thing he does is this story where Kindred like disappears, and in him like dying, it reveals. I don't remember the full details to this because like it's fucking dumb, but it reveals that when we thought Norman Osborn fucked Gwen Stacy, right? We thought Gwen Stacy cheated on Peter. Actually, here's what happened. And I kind of like this change. I just think it was done really poorly. What happened is Harry made an AI version of himself for when he died, right? It's because he knew he was going to die. So in the 90s, he made like an AI version of himself. And that AI version had hired Mysterio and made Mysterio make an illusion / possibly be the illusion of Gwen Stacy fucking Norman. So Norman doesn't actually fuck Gwen Stacy. He possibly fucks Mysterio and or an illusions of Mysterio. But then you think, okay, well, what about the kids? So AI Harry thought about that too. So he cloned Norman and then mixed in Gwen Stacy DNA and made their children. But it's not actually their children. You know, it's like clone baby children. And that's where their kids were from. So now Gwen Stacy has no longer fucked Norman. Do we have any questions? Good.
Did this shit have the kid approval stamp?
No, they got rid of that.
This should happened in
after
like
Gwen,
2019.
Yeah, this was 2019.
Recent.
So after Gwen Stacy died, they sort of got rid of the Comics Code approval because they just didn't want it anymore. So now we get to the most recent stuff, books from 2020. We get into something called Spider-Man Beyond. I'll explain. So after Ben became evil, he got his own book called Scarlet Spider, which is what his Spider-Man book was called. Before he became like the main Spider, he had a book called Scarlet Spider, and that's what he was called to like differentiate them. So he had a new book called Scarlet Spider, where he was a fucking asshole. He was a piece of garbage. Hate him. And Marvel went, you know what? We kind of feel bad for Ben. So they did this thing called Spider-Man Beyond, where they bring Ben back. They canceled the main Spider-Man book, and they were only doing Spider-Man Beyond, and Ben was going to be the new Spider-Man. And I was really fucking excited for this, because they're fixing Ben Reilly, right? And I love Ben Reilly. Even though the Clone Saga sucks, he's like the best part of it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, okay, Ben Reilly content, it's good Ben Reilly content, it's great. Here's how Spider-Man Beyond plays out. Ben gets hired by a company called the Beyond Corporation that are very clearly evil. They're evil. I'm sorry. They seem evil. They do shady shit. Ben should know this. Regardless, he's working for Beyond Corporation. He gets a brand new Spider-Man suit. They trademark Spider-Man. So like Ben shows up to Peter and he's like, hey dude, so actually this company I work for owns the trademark. So can you stop being Spider-Man? And Peter's like, are you dumb? Peter's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? So they don't actually fight, but they end up fighting a group of villains. One of them has like super radiation powers and it hits Peter and Peter gets like radiation poisoning. So he's in the hospital for the entirety of Spider-Man Beyond. And like MJ's with him there the entire time because him and MJ are going strong. It's great. They have a great relationship. So throughout Beyond is just a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of stories happening until the end of it when the Beyond Corporation, spoilers, whoa, crazy. They actually turn out to be evil. They were like insanely evil. And Ben and Peter, like Peter puts on a Spider-Man suit. He's barely able to walk, but he's like, let's fucking go. And there's this great moment where they're like brothers and they like fucking fist bump. And then they go to fight the Beyond Corporation. And what happens is the Beyond Corporation takes Ben's memories. So Ben doesn't remember like anything. And then him and Peter fight because the Beyond Corporation is like, we can give your memories back if you like do this shit for us. And Peter's like, dude, stop. We will get your memories back in other ways. Think about this. And Ben's like, no, man, I want my memories back now. So like they're fighting, and then the Beyond building fucking blows up, and there's just like green goo everywhere, and it's weird purple and green. And then Ben like pushes Peter out of the way, and he falls in the goo, and he's like, Peter, I'm sorry, but I see nothing now. Because his memories are fucked up, he just sees like black holes for people's faces, and it's supposed to be like really fucked up and weird, and you're like, oh, what's happening to Ben Reilly? And Peter's like, damn, my brother died again. That fucking sucks. Holy shit, that's terrible. And then the cliffhanger of the book is Ben's in this weird purple, green, gooey costume. And it's like, it looks like a symbiote almost. And it's called Chasm because he doesn't have any of his memories now. And he's a fucking villain. Again. Because according to Marvel
I
editorial.
stopped reading that halfway through it.
according to Marvel editorial, they didn't know what to do with Ben. He didn't have a place in the Spider-Man mythos, so they decided to make a new one. So they made him fucking evil. Now, I can't tell you what's up with that, because that event, there's an event they're doing in December called Dark Web, where Chasm's going to come back and he's going to fight Spider-Man. So maybe when that finishes, we could do a little like follow-up video where I talk about that. But regardless, you know what? Beyond ends. It's 2021, right? Beyond's over. Peter and MJ are going strong. Peter's going to be Spider-Man again. They think Ben's dead. Ben's gone. So we get to the newest run of Spider-Man. They release like a teaser photo. It's like Peter in a crater, and it just says, "What did Peter Parker do?" And it's him like screaming, and it's what appears to be like a nuclear crater, almost like it's a fucking massive explosion. And you're like, "Whoa!" You're just like, "Whoa, okay, that's interesting, right?" First arc opens. It's 6 months since the Beyond incident, or it's 6 months since the crater incident. So we don't know what the crater incident is. Like they time jump post crater incident. Peter and MJ have broken up because of whatever he did at the crater incident. So they are no longer together. And MJ is with this dude named Paul, who's totally not evil, and they have fucking kids.
Wow.
How do they have kids? I don't know. Because one of the kids, they both look like Mary Jane, by the way. They have red hair. So one of the kids is about like 10, which is like, okay, how's that possible? And the other one's about like the other one's about like 6 looking, which is like, what?
How long after the crater incident was this?
6 months. So clearly, I've talked about this before, but clearly, okay, here's MJ. If these are actually MJ's kids and they're not like weird clone babies, they would have had to have been born either when they first they divorced via magic, which doesn't make any sense because timeline-wise, it's probably only been like 2 years since then. Or they would have to have been born pre them even being together, so when she was like 16, or when they were kind of broken up pre-marriage, or when they were separated post-marriage but not divorced yet. Either way, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I have no idea what's happening because the book's not over yet. They haven't fucking told us yet. This is the current ongoing book, and I'm only bringing it up. I stopped reading it, which is a hard thing for me to do, by the way, is to catch me not reading the Spider-Man book because I'm a loser, right? I stopped reading it not because of the Paul thing. The Paul thing was very annoying, and I was very pissed off at that. But the writing was kind of strong. They did like a Tombstone arc, who's like a gangster villain, right? So he's a kind of a low-level Spider-Man villain. It was really cool. But the reason I stopped reading it is because, remember, I mentioned Norman Osborn was a good guy, and I'm sure you guys were like, well, that doesn't fucking matter. Well, actually, Norman has hired Peter. Peter is working for Norman Osborn, and he got a Oscorp suit made, like a Spider-Man Oscorp suit. And he's got a fucking goblin glider, but it's called the Spider Glider. And he works for Norman Osborn now. You know, the person who murdered his girlfriend, tormented his life, helped torment his best friend's life, killed other friends of him. You know, he's working for him now. Because according to Peter in the book, everyone deserves a second chance, and it's his responsibility to make sure that Norman gets that second chance. That's Spider-Man, everybody. We've done it. We caught up.
I don't know how this is real.
It's real.
Real and it hurts.
It just sounds like someone kicking and screaming.
Also, the reason he starts working with Norman, so Norman comes to him and is like, hey, you should work for me. And Peter's like, I don't know, I'll think about it. And then the Vulture beats him. And I don't mean like it's kind of an even fight. No. The Vulture legitimately beats the shit out of Peter Parker. Like, Peter is bleeding and losing. And he calls Norman. He calls Norman screaming and crying. He's going to die, and the Vulture's going to kill him, and he needs his Oscorp suit, or the Vulture's going to murder him. Peter Parker. You know, the guy who has lifted fucking tons of weight off his back, saved the universe multiple times, can't beat the Vulture. And I want to add, by the way, this isn't a younger version of the Vulture, which has happened before. This is the 90-year-old, and he doesn't have any buffs. He is the same Vulture that Peter fought back when he was 7 fucking teen. And he loses.
Jesus.
In terms of power scaling, that means the Vulture could beat anybody that Peter's beaten.
Yes, the Vulture could beat Thanos.
Yeah. Watch out, Thanos.
Welcome to hell.
That's where we're at in Spider-Man comics. They fucking suck. And they've sucked since 2006.
There's been quite a lot of suck for a
Yeah.
while now.
Yeah. No, there has. There's been some bright spots, but then they suck. So, I don't really have anything else to add unless you guys have any questions. I think we should probably end this extremely long episode.
I felt like I've just been absorbing, like just soaking all this in, and it's
Yeah. So, did I okay, I'll end this by asking, did I interest you in reading any Spider-Man comics at all pre-suck?
absolutely not.
Fair enough. Mikey?
Because I mean, I know what happens now.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true.
More like, how the fuck could
That's
they
fair.
have
I'm
some?
specifically talking. Oh, keep going.
I just know it felt like they were snowballing at one point and having something amazing, and then it just fucking melted, and then it was over.
Yeah. I have class in 4 hours, by the way. So do we want
You got a class
Yeah.
of 5?
to? Sorry, 5 hours then.
You got a class at 6?
I have to leave at 6. I have to wake
Oh.
up at 6. I gotta like do my morning routine and stuff. So thanks for
Fair.
watching, possibly watching this episode all any 3 years. I doubt you stuck with it. If you did stick with it, thanks. Maybe we'll try to
like
keep
and
this.
subscribe.
Shut up. Maybe we'll try to keep this on a regular schedule. So
No promises.
Yeah,
No
we'll talk about
promise.
something more diverse.
We're done with
next time.
Spider-Man. I'll never, unless you guys, on the 20th episode, I can run down the entire history of Venom because I've also read every single Venom comic ever written.
No
That'll
more
be fun.
Spider-Man ever. It's done. You've
Venom
done
is
it all.
By the way, Venom is like never. It hasn't been good until very recently. So Venom is a fucking doozy.
Lethal Protector was entertaining to read it.
But we're gonna end this episode here. So thank you for watching and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.